What's up, folks? Welcome back to the stream. Some nice Thursday Warhammer for you. This is the T5S2 Pod 5 Finals for Season 8. We have over here in the red an OG T5S2 player heralding from back in 8th edition. Fenomeno makes a return to the finals table versus over here in the blue, relatively newer player to the series, or at least to the finals matches, Dutch, playing Orks. We're going to see if the blue remains lucky for the Orks and they're able to get through the meta's toughest customer right now, that being Aeldari, obviously. We are on vital grounds today, so 4 objectives only in this mission rather than the normal 5. The middle objective has disappeared, which is a little bit unfortunate for Orks. They would really like to mob that one, but it does grant you scaling points based on the proximity to your opponent's deployment zone that you hold an objective at. So if you are able to hold the objectives in the middle, they're worth more than holding your home, and if you're able to hold your opponent's home objective, it's worth the most, which means that an aggressive style of Orc list like this can potentially do a lot of damage. And Dutch has mentioned that he actually has a positive win record against Aeldari so far. So he was it's actually warning his opponent a little bit. He was like, watch out, I'm an Eldar killer right now, so this is not going to be an easy game. So hopefully we get a good show from these players. Thanks everybody in the chat for hanging out. Kobe, having a good week? I'm having a pretty good week. A bit of a quiet week so far. Not a lot of like 40k news and stuff to talk about, so I've actually been working on other projects for the most part this week. But a lot of VODs going up over the next couple of days, by the way, chat. Because of the Invitational, I had been streaming most of my games over on YouTube, most of the commentary that I did, so I actually hadn't uploaded VODs to the VOD channel. Exclamation point replays in chat if you want to go get that. That's youtube.com/tacticaltoursTV. And that's been sort of lying fallow for the last couple of weeks. But I just put a video up before the stream went live, and I should have videos up every couple days or so for the next, I don't know, couple weeks until I get caught up with the VODs from the stream. So lots of battle reports going live on YouTube if anybody wants to check those out. Ivan702, thank you so much for the follow. And let's talk about some lists, everybody. Exclamation point lists in chat. I made sure the bot's actually working today, unlike Tuesday when it just pooped out on us for some reason. But today, it has the correct lists in there. We have... let's talk about Eldar first, because we've talked about Eldar a million times. You probably know what all of these units do. I don't think we need to get too spicy about it. It is an Autarch Way Leaper, who is the Warlord to get command points, easy peasy. A Farseer with the Phoenix Gem and a Spirit Seer. It's going to attach to some Wraith Guard. Now, I actually have to double check for us, chat, what the status of the Wraith Guard are in this event. So what we do in T5S2 is rules lock when the event begins. So as soon as the list submission closes and the first round begins, which is basically simultaneous, then the rules will lock in. So we'll use whatever rules are set at that time. It looks like...
You guessed it. Another truck.
The index card errata locked in on July 26th. Wow, that was a month ago. Time flies, man. It feels like it was yesterday that we saw Wraithguard being nerfed. I think I have to stop talking about the Cult Ambush nerf, which happened at the same time, being like new technology. This event, just to verify, began on the 28th, so Wraithguard are post-nerf in this one. Because it was 2 days after the errata came down. So we are playing Wraithguard, but they are going to be nerfed Wraithguard, so their War Construct can't be used in melee. Thank goodness. That's good for Orcs. So then at least they don't get charged and then get punched. Just punched and shot, and then charge again, and then shot again, and then punched again. Good to know. All right, so... Speaking of which, there is the end card in this list, a Night Spinner. Going to be pretty brutal in this matchup because it does shut off WAAAGH, and it can slow down Here We Go as well. We have 2 War Walkers, individual War Walkers with Bright Lances, 1 unit of Shadow Specters, 1 unit of Rangers, 2 units of Warp Spiders, 1 unit of Wraith Guard, and the Wraith Knight himself. Kind of a standard Wraith-focused list. A lot of utility units, a little bit of support from indirect fire support from the Knight Spinner, and then the big Wraith Knight, obviously. Just gonna put the Wraith Knight on the line here today. Not really worried about Orc shooting. There's no shooting batteries in this Orc list. Sometimes Orcs can make they can make a go of it in the shooting phase with mech guns and with flash kits, but that's not what we're seeing today. We do have the Grot tanks, to be fair. We haven't really seen these guys on the table too much. Let's see if I can pull up their datasheet for you. They are a pretty funky profile, those Grot tanks. They are one of the most efficient delivery systems for rocket launches in the Orc faction. Because not only do they themselves have a rocket launcher, but they also have a leader model is able to take 2 rocket launches as well. So for, I think they're only a couple points model, 45 points model maybe. I guess it would say on the list here. So they are... what? Yeah, 45 points model. Or not quite. They're like 38 or something. They get a rocket launcher. They have a pretty solid defensive profile. T6 with 5 wounds is okay. They're sort of a heavy infantry, basically. You don't really think of them as a vehicle. They are vehicle keyworded, but they're kind of like a Terminator unit equivalent. And then they have an automatic 6-inch reactive move. So as soon as an enemy moves within 6 inches or 9 inches of them, they can move 6. And it's not a D6. It's not random. They just go the full 6. And at move 10, that means that they're relatively maneuverable already, and they're OC2 as well. So really just like not really any huge downsides to these guys. Plus they have, for 4 models, they have 5 rocket launches. So there's a little bit of anti-tank shooting there. But as soon as we see Fortune go down on that Wraith Knight, I don't think it's really going to be in danger too much from those. The biggest danger that they pose is maybe to the Wraith Guard, especially if the Wraith Guard are out in the open, don't get cover. But the Spirit Seer can shore up those regenerations pretty well. But yeah, other than that, I think this Wraith Knight's just going to be sort of dominating the middle of the table. There's not really much in the Orc army that's going to fight it effectively, but that's not the point of the Orc army. The Orc army is just going to try to OC the Eldar player and sort of MSU out its big anti-tank guns. And to that end, we have 3 units of 5 Storm Boys, 2 units of 10 Gretchen, 2 units of Burna Boys to kill infantry, a big unit of Knobs, as well as a big unit of Squig Hog Boys, 6 Squig Hog Boys, and 6 trucks to keep all that infantry in, plus a Beast Boss, a Smash a Squig Knob, with Head Wappa's Kill Choppa, so he's going to get... we do have 2 sources of devastating wounds with anti-vehicle, so we can potentially... or anti-monster, I should say, so we can potentially mortal wound down the Titan if it gets too close, but I don't think that's really going to be the number 1 game plan. And then a regular war boss as well to hang out with that Knob unit, I think. So Strands of Fate rolls being laid out. Looks like that was a pretty solid roll from Fenomeno here. 3 6s and 3 1s that can then turn into 6s thanks to the Farseer. So we've got a lot of automatic devastating wounds and big damage rolls as well. Ready to go.
Now, there we go. I will roll a die for my Gretchen on a point. They do not.
It looks like Fenomeno as well on fixed secondaries. So Orks taking the first turn. And grabbing tactical objectives. You secure no man's land and area denial. Pulled for them first up. Area denial shouldn't be too bad because we should be able to get either a Stormboy unit or a truck into the center of the table. That's easy peasy. Secure no man's land, also easy peasy. Actually, this should be just a 10-point turn for Orks. And that allows for a top of 2 WAAAGH. So I think if we were going to set this up for the best possible position for Orks to be successful, this is probably the setup that we're looking for. First turn, a good aggressive position, and the ability to charge onto the Eldar home objectives top of 2. That's what you want. And if the Orks can basically just body block out the Wraith Guard from being able to be too successful in the game, they can overload the guns on the Wraith Knight. The Wraith Knight can only shoot 2 things a turn, so it's going to like kill some trucks, but not kill the guys inside probably, or kill, have a truck get killed by something and then kill the guys inside with the Wraith Knight. Hopefully it doesn't have the attack volume to kill the Orc army, but who knows? Wraith Knights do a ton of damage. I think the real hope is that we can incentivize it not to shoot the Squig Hogs. But yeah, those Squig Hogs are going to be in line of sight anyway. You can't hide from this thing. Not when it deploys on the line here. And then just hope you kill everything else with boys and storm boys and characters. And let those big Wraith units stomp around the table and do whatever they want for a while. So bring it down and deploy teleport homers chosen for Fenomeno. Bring it down is going to be a huge scorer for the Aeldari this game, and I think that's the reason that we are taking fixed secondaries, because each of those trucks is worth 3 points, and the tanks, the Grot tanks, I believe, are also worth 2 points as well. So it's a huge score. Plus there's a
I thought you meant D3 plus 2 for each.
Oh, I guess there's not there's no Squig Hog or the big Squig riders for the Orcs, so the characters don't give up any points on Bring It Down. We just have the Smash a Squig Knob, but he's mounted, he's not a vehicle or monster. So that's good for him. But anyway, huge score on that one. Deploy Teleport Homers is relatively straightforward. I think we're going to have to throw Warp Spiders into the middle, but you kind of want to throw the Warp Spiders in the middle anyway, because they're such an Overwatch threat. They're a Torrent weapon with devastating wounds. It's really solid. So you kind of run the Warp Spiders into the center, hope that they get to Overwatch an infantry unit that's trying to score secondaries, and then hope for the best. So it looks like we Overwatched into the Squig Hogs from the Wraith Knight already.
Ooh, this is a great start. I love it. I love it. And then 8.
And then it looks like we boxcars a devastating wound. Oh my god, dude. I saw 12 mortals. One guy got shot to death by the raw damage, and then 12 mortal wounds applied to the unit with the boxcars. Oh man, good old Overwatch, man. What a time! What a time to be alive. Trek move into the middle to get area deny. As yeah, looks like we can see here, easy peasy. And we do have Storm Boys at the top here, so as long as we get somebody to this objective, which we did, we've secured No Man's Land done already. Good stuff.
For 6, so it will move forward 18.
Kobe, local RTT this weekend. Get some games in before Nova. 3 Aeldari lists. Oh my god. Yeah, hope you dodge them. That's the game plan right now. Fortunately, at the bigger events, especially like, if you're playing 9 rounds or whatever, usually, especially once they cut to pods, you don't get Aeldari in your pod matches at events like Nova. But that's the hope, obviously. Sergeant Reed, quick question. Does Phantasm change your movement characteristic to 7? No, it does not. When you make a normal move, you can move up to your movement value, your movement characteristic. So the Phantasm still allows it's still you're still restricted by your movement characteristic. It doesn't normally matter for Aeldar, but it does for like their support weapon platforms and their wraiths and stuff. The Wraith Guard, at least, they move 6 instead of 7 when they Phantasm, so just a little bit of a debuff on those friends. A little bit worried about the Gretchen on the objective here. I think we need one more thing on the objective, because the Gretchen could potentially get picked up by the Night Spinner if it gets a couple lucky devastating wounds. Trying to keep the Grot tanks alive so that we can get shots with them later. Basically, trying to make it as difficult as possible for the Wraith Knight to get line of sight. The problem is that the Wraith Knight's just going to move slightly over to the side anyway. I think it may just be charging into the Storm Boys anyway. It's not really a downside to that.
There you go. And that is all of my trucks over there. All of those over there. Do I have truck 1 will be able to shoot? Do I have anything else? No, not really. I don't have anything else really. to move. No, I do not. So moving on to the shooting phase, I have Chuck into Mr. Wraith Knight.
Half
Why
move them
not?
with a disc, yeah. Yeah, you always sequence that before. I had that interaction come up actually in a game against Aeldari a couple weeks ago,
So 5 shots.
where I was restricting a Wraith Knight, a Wraith Guard unit from being able to
and
escape from me, which is very funny.
So that will not be a wound because you're not T9. How dare you?
Even if it did replace your movement with 7, the characteristic modifier, the way that sequencing works is that replacement effects happen first. So even if they got a movement characteristic of 7 from the stratagem, it would still be halved, so they would move like 4 inches.
For 5 points. Will have secured area denial.
Orks seem very fun, yeah.
And they're both gone.
I think, interestingly, we were talking to players before the game, so that is, yeah, Orc turn completed, and 10 secondaries ticked up for them. Gonna be very nice. But yeah, the interesting thing about the Orc game plan right now is that it is just extremely, it's a really, just straightforward game, basically. You're trying to score as many points as possible before your army dies. Orcs are a very kind of mid-range in terms of damage. They have a lot of very fair profiles, I guess, where they, their anti-tank stuff is like strength 9 or strength 10, like mid AP, mid damage. Their ballistic skills aren't very high. Their melee attacks are mediocre. But what they do have is they have speed, and they have just so many bodies in the middle of the table here. So, I mean, obviously we have all of these trucks, and each of these trucks is holding 10 bodies, right? Looks like we're just keeping a bunch of dudes inside the trucks, and so these things are just gonna disgorge hordes of orcs, even if you're able to kill them before they go. And it's becoming clearer and clearer that orcs have a couple different archetypes available. I think this is the highest scoring one, but generally speaking, all they're trying to do is just bully you out of your primary. There's a lot of armies that can table an orc army, but there's very few armies that can table an orc army before orcs beat you on primary. So, shuffling the Warwalkers around the corner here. Going to get a couple cheeky lines of sight into the Squig Hogs, it looks like.
Probably. I don't think so, actually. They're a bit too far away. It's going to be like 1.1.
Wondering if we can charge them? I don't know if the... Does the Wraith
Wraith
Knight have the movement to get over there? It feels like a long charge. Probably just go... I guess we're looking to see what's going to shoot at the Storm Boys, basically. Because if the Squig Hogs are...
yeah, should be 1 point of access.
If the Squig Hogs are shot at, they could pull a model that could be attacked, potentially.
Remind me which trucks your characters are in.
5 and 6.
Okay, white and orange.
And you can see there's a little bit of like decision paralysis here, right? Because realistically, we're gonna get some work out of the Warp Spiders, obviously. They're very good, especially into these infantry matchups. And we're going to get some work out of the characters and stuff. But realistically, there are, there's basically only 2 units inside the Aeldari army right now, right? There are the Wraith Guard and there is the Wraith Knight. And so Fenomeno has to make the correct decision.
Yeah, which is what I'm saying. Like, you were off by a hair's breadth.
He has to make the correct decisions with his target priority in every phase here. So you really have to consider how you're going to approach this interesting matchup. Now, the other thing that's I think is also important to note is that there's no Fireseer Skyrunner in this list. So one thing that's different in this Eldar army from most of the ones that we've seen before is that we don't have the hit rerolls on the Wraith Knight. We're basically just relying on unparalleled foresight and on Fate dice to confirm its hit rolls, and that means that it's actually much less effective in Overwatch. We did get a little bit lucky with that first Overwatch, although, obviously you could just be burning 6s to make that happen, which I think is what we did. But the Wraith Knight isn't necessarily the same powerhouse that we normally see it as, where it basically gets 2 shooting phases back to back in your shooting phase, and then obviously your opponent's movement phase. And that limitation on attack volume is going to be huge in this matchup, where you're looking at like 15 individual units coming at you that you have to deal with, all of them. I wonder if there's also like a consideration where we could potentially see, especially since the Wraith Guard can't right now shoot in melee, we could potentially see some of the characters pop out, and if the Spirit Seer gets a little bit feisty, it's actually kind of deployed aggressively right now. I imagine it goes inside this building to keep it safe. But, you know, you could see a cheeky epic duel from a war boss or something. No, it's staying out of the building. Okay, interesting. I think we do have Phantasm to put it back in if we need to, obviously. That is always going to be on the table. But that could actually clip the Spirits here early, which would be kind of fun. Love that Orks are in the final. Yeah, Orks are pretty good. They flew under the radar, I think. A lot of people were kind of upset about the Orc army, and I think that's the case for a lot of the armies when the edition was first released, that the armies that were scoring focused and looked less impressive from a datasheet standpoint, a lot of people kind of wrote off, like, Orcs, well, their WAAAGH mechanic is really, like, kind of stodgy and, like, not very well implemented. Their datasheets aren't that good. Their melee attacks are mediocre. Like, what is the point of this faction? And then the point is that they just Rhino Rush you, basically. They just throw tons and tons and tons of trucks at you and make, you know, prevent you from scoring primary. And that's it. That's the game plan. And it was the same for, like, Tyranids, too, right? Tyranids looked really awkward and weird. But actually just score a billion points. And Grey Knights as well, right? We were just talking about Grey Knights in the Discord, actually. There was a discussion about them. And the fact that, I guess, Art of War made some statements that they're like a 50-50 into Eldar, and I think that is actually not unreasonable, because they're very good at killing everything in an Eldar army that's not a Wraith Knight. They could 2 down a Wraith Knight if they get really lucky and they like put 3 Librarians into it or something. But if they kill everything else in the army, and it's kind of the same game plan that the Orcs have here, and then they just teleport around the table constantly, like, what do you do about that? You just get destroyed. Trucks with boys have been a stat check forever, yeah. Last edition it was kill rigs with beast nagas. Now it's trucks with like knobs and orc boys. It's the same deal for sure. Same song, different tune. So it looks like we Flicker jumped a Warp Spider unit up to the top here, so they're gonna try to burn, you know, focus down the Storm boys.
Because they are over here and they should be on the board.
You can deploy them. Like,
oh, okay.
Because,
looks like you forgot a Gretchen unit. Looks like Dutch actually probably put it out on the side of the table. Expecting to deploy them. Fenomeno actually let him go back and deploy them, which is very nice. I think normally you just say, well, they have to be on the table somewhere, so they probably are just in strategic reserve. But just letting him put them on this objective. Oh, no, not quite. All right, fair enough.
Not on the point, which makes me very sad and very disappointed in them.
no problem.
I honestly think a lot of the armies are well balanced. Eldar, GSE, Death Guard, Votan mechanics need work. Everything else is good for Index 40k. I agree with you. 100%, I agree. And honestly, I think, like, Genestealer cults, it seems pretty obvious to me, based on results from at least the last week or two, that Genestealer cult post-nerf, like, are down, you know, they're kind of hanging out with the other good factions, that, like, the good but not broken factions, right? Like, Adeptus Custodes and Necrons and Imperial Knights and all these factions that are super strong, but not necessarily, like, at the level of Eldar, where they're just, like, this sort of, you know, fall asleep and play with your eyes closed sort of army. And yeah, I think that is amazing. I think the changes to Cult Ambush, making it more difficult for them to string, you know, score super high in the late game, have been incredibly good.
Should be about.
You could maybe change.
Yeah, just the artifact.
Yeah, that sounds like a good plan.
What are we doing? I guess just outlining the objective markers. Interesting. You could maybe change the demolition charges. I think that's probably the biggest outstanding, like, strong thing, because they just trade up so hard. And the fact that you can then respawn them is a little bit abusive. But I think that would be the only thing that I would maybe like rework in the faction right now. And maybe a points cut. Maybe like a points increase. You could push like Neophytes to 9 and Acolytes up a little bit maybe, and I think it would be fine.
Okay. 24 shots. These auto hit. They're strength 4. You're what? T5?
T5, so on 6s.
Okay, so it's just 6s, but 6s are mortal because it does take them.
So 2.
2 mortal wounds.
2 mortal wounds. You kill the Storm Boss.
So, Flamers from the Warp Spiders, the Torrent Weapons, into the Storm Boys. Hard as nails here, saving a couple. So only one dude went down to that. Good use of the stratagem there, just to make sure that you have to put more than one unit into that Storm Boy squad. And again, I mean, the more that we can sort of force people to split fire, the better. Looks like we're measuring our Wraithguard line of sight now. Mining equipment, the deadliest weapon in 40k. So I was thinking about that, right? I had a thought. And people were like, oh, why is a mining laser better than a las cannon on a Lehman Russ or something? And I was like, well, don't the Imperial Guard, the whole idea, the whole tactical doctrine of the Imperium of Man outside of Space Marines and like their more elite stuff is that they're just trying to out-volume you. So like, why pay a bunch of money for a las weapon that you're only going to use one time because the dude who's carrying it dies like 6 seconds later? Where you could, a piece of mining equipment is going to last for potentially centuries. So you might as well put all of your more advanced technology into your infrastructure, right? Put it into your industry, and then your industry can more cheaply create more military hardware. And the military hardware doesn't have to be that good because you're looking for quantity over quality. Right? Everything makes sense. The universe in 40k is perfect and has no flaws.
Good job, Chuck. Very proud.
What's inside truck 1?
Truck 1 is Burner Boys.
Burna Boys versus Warp Spiders. I wonder if we're going to have the standoff of the Sentry over here, where they both just stay slightly outside of each other's weapon range so they don't get overwatched to death. 40k, perfectly balanced, as all things should be. That meme works extra for the meta right now because, like, it's the Infinity Gauntlet with all the gems in it, and it just looks like a piece of Aeldari technology. Like, I'm sure at one point, like, you know that there's a piece of concept art for an Eldar guy with a power fist that looks like the Infinity Gauntlet.
When you find any storm lads on this?
They used to be able to take... You used to be able to just, like, hot swap equipment between different, like, races, right? You could take, like, shuriken weapons on Imperial Guard guys, and you could take power fists and bolters on Eldar guys. That was, like, a rogue trader thing, I think.
On the center of it, like a bit to the right, you will see the yellow outline, and then 4 of them will be on top of it. So 4 OC.
Okay, no problem. So this Warwalker, the one furthest out, is going to shoot the squid calculates.
Alright, go for it.
Hey, that's a good point, chat. Yeah, your citizen soldiery. If all of their mining equipment is military grade, your citizen soldiery is suddenly a dangerous threat. Which is a downside if they rebel against you. But I think the incidence of rebellion is minuscule compared to the number of hive worlds in the Imperium that are obedient and nice.
Lad dies because he's on 1 wound.
So it looks like Bright Lance pops 1 wounded Squighog boy in the back.
Yeah, the other Warwalker will do the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there were female Space Marines. And I remember there's a whole article about the female Space Marine thing, which I think I love. Where they were like, yeah, we stopped making female Space Marines because, like, having multiple molds for one Space Marine was too difficult. So we just made a male-only model, and that just became, like, canon at some point. That only men could be Space Marines, but, like, really it was just, like, an IRL logistical thing. Kind of funny. Just limiting the number of casts and unique sculpts they had to make.
Orks, and the Star Cannons into the Stormlands.
Mm-hmm.
Did you 3 shots from the Raid Cannon? For it. Hang on, 3s. And 3 hits. And again, within 12 of the first year.
Yeah, I think it's also a convenience thing too, right?
For the damage?
I imagine that if you needed to make a big crane arm in the 41st Millennium, like Belisarius Call could figure it out, right? That dude's a smart guy. But you don't need to if you have like trillions of just like human idiots that you could just use this to perform the same function. Like, why retrofit all your spaceships and spend all these like man hours and engineering time to like create new technology when you could just like throw humans into the pit, right? It's just unnecessary.
And then, you want me to reroll the wounds and keep the 3 damage? It's up to you. This is my mistake.
Reroll the damage because you just didn't roll it.
Okay, and then I'll so Eldar reroll. Let's fail wound roll. So 3 wounds, and then we'll just take the 3 damage. Honestly, that was my mistake.
Alright. Then now I will make my fill of pain. Which will be... I will make 1, so one of them will be down to 1.
Okay, that 1 wound guy then takes 9.
9, I'm not gonna bother.
So
rolling
focus
9
firing
power-ups, he's just fucking
the Wraith Cannons into the Squighog boys right now. That is a dangerous unit. That does have Headwappa's Kill Choppa on the Smash Squig. So getting rid of that dude is going to be a pretty big deal. So 6 mortal wounds looks like going in onto the character. Does he survive? On double 6s he does! Down to 1 wound. Let's go.
He will live on 1.
Did we shoot our Star Cannons?
No, we have
Oh no, here we
Star
go.
Cannons into the Storm
Alright, not like
I've already
this.
used my wound reroll.
Oh, we fired at the Storm Boys, which are still protected by Hard as Nails.
Still minus 1 to win.
Yes,
So
wounding on 4s.
1 wound.
Why is there ransom? We have
Wow.
20 idiots who can do it by hand, right? You could waste Belisarius' call time by designing like an auto loader, and then also have to build a bunch of auto loaders and put them on your spaceships. Or you could just use the people who are on the spaceships already. Plus, those people they always fight against boarding actions. I remember distinctly Battlefleet Gothic. The number of hit points remaining on a ship was equivalent to the amount of crews. That's what you would use in boarding actions. And I kind of like that idea.
Yeah, we'll go with the Night Spinner. So D6 plus 3. 6. Heading on 4s because of indirect. Eldar reroll. Your toughness glows.
7.
Okay, winding on 4s.
All right, little guy.
Twin light and devastating.
No devastating here, please. Oh, that's a lot of wounds, though. Firing the Night Spinner at this
What's your
dude.
armor save?
Not only will this kill him, probably, but also, if it doesn't kill him, at least he doesn't get to advance and charge, and he's a little bit slower. There's a devastate. Yeah. So I don't think we're gonna boxcars our way out of this one, but we'll see. Maybe. Never say never.
7, yeah. So I will make 2 saves on a 3-up first. I will make 1, and then I will roll 4 5-ups. I
Oh,
will
there
not.
he goes.
He will be dead and rotting in the ground.
Well, that wasn't too bad so far.
Rest in peace.
Interesting question of whether you could port the Incarn over there, and I don't know if there's a charge across the wall here, because this guy is base with the wall. And that would ensure that you get rid of that unit so that you can hold that objective. But the Incarn is in a dangerous position if you put it over there. But you could place the Incarn like here and then get a charge across the side there if that 1-inch engagement is good.
Alright.
Nope,
You
looks
do
like
use
that's
scoring
it.
secondaries?
So,
Lovely. That's
so
good
no
for me.
deploy teleport homers, no bring it down. And that is going to make deploy teleport homers a little bit awkward. Now, we are throwing these warp spiders up the front here. Those guys are in easy access of the opponent's deployment zone. So if we're looking for a teleport homer deployment next turn, they can potentially get it. So I think you have to focus fire that unit down. The truck with this Burna Boys in it, though, survived. So it's actually going to be able to move, and the Burna Boys can't get overwatched because you'd overwatch into the truck. So we may just see those guys get punked by a Burna Boy truck or Storm Boys just trying to get into them. You can also, a little bit of a funky piece of technology as well with these trucks is that they have a pretty solid melee weapon. They have that Wrecking Ball, which is a Strength 8 melee weapon. So they're actually good for... pull up their datasheet real quick here. They're actually good for tank shocks. So you can plow a couple mortal wounds out of those guys. So especially if you're combining it with, like, you've got rocket launcher fire, you've got characters attacking, you can actually wombo combo out kind of a lot of damage from these things. Now, the other question is whether or not we actually try to deal with these Wraith Guard. Like we talked about, the War Construct did get locked in as it loses the pistol criterion for this event because we started after the errata that nerfed them. So it could be that we could sink like a War Boss into that unit right now and just try to kill the spirits here, and then you can actually shoot them with rockets and kill them, and they stay dead instead of regenerating. And getting them engaged is a good way to try to put them down without having to worry about it. Looks like we are just going to be disembarking. I imagine we WAAAGH this turn too, right? Like, there's no way that we didn't declare WAAAGH. Are we going for the Way Leaper with these guys? Oh, I think we are. Shark's one of the best units in the game. I think they're definitely in contention for sure. Certainly the best transport in the game, I think, hands down. I don't think anyone would disagree with you there. Yeah. Real strong. So, we always talk about in these Eldar games, one of the ways that you try to deal with the power of Phantasm is you try to give the Eldar player too many things to Phantasm than they can reasonably do. And one way I think we're going to try to do that right now is potentially force the Autarch to Phantasm, which means that you're not getting anything else in this objective. You could be pulling it off of its objective, so you're denying primary. I mean, the Orks have already basically secured themselves a good grip of primary. I think that, yeah, we got 5 for one middle objective and 2 for the home objective, yeah. But if the Orks are able to dominate, if they're able to get onto the Eldar home objective, then that could be GG right there, because the amount that you can score from primary is nuts. Oh, that's a 6-inch advance, and we are moving extra. Yeah, so they would go 11 inches? I don't know if we can Here We Go in the transport, right?
Over here. Alright, you want Overwatch? Go for it.
Yeah, we'll Overwatch this squad.
Mm-hmm.
Wraith Knight.
There is 11 models, so +2 each.
Okay, 2d3 plus 4. Will be 8. Looking for 6.
Yep. Nice.
Eldar reroll. Nope.
Glorious. Not this time. It will balance out. It was, you already had too many, so now it balances each other out. How nice. Thank you, Dice. Very cool. Then over in track 4, I can be over there, then advance, and then still not be over there. So the truck is just going to advance.
Just real quick, how far do these guys move?
They moved 14 because I rolled a 6 to advance. They have a 6 inches to movement, and I spend a CP on +2 to advances and charges.
Can
So 6
you
plus 6
do
plus 2.
that when they're embarked?
I will quickly look it up if it's at the start of the phase or not.
Yeah,
if it's
it
not,
is
I'll
at the
move
start
back
of
2
the
inches.
movement phase. It's not before they
Oh,
move.
okay.
Yeah.
Then that is my mistake, because you cannot use stratagems when they're embarked. So I'll just move back 2 inches and then -2 to my charges.
Oh, they move
That's
6 or
fine.
move 5?
They move 6. The stats on my models are inconsistent because they're still from 9th edition, which is why I'm using data cards. I have not battle scribed my list yet,
Yeah, no problem.
which I apologize for, but it wasn't working yet when I made this list, so I was still using data cards. So, having made that up, there we
All
go.
right.
Then now, track 4.
Yeah, a bit of a weird timing on that one. We can take a look at the stratagem here, chat. It's here we go.
10 past the building, and then
It
7
I think is kind of
over
specifically
there.
designed
Why
not to work
What
with
are you gonna do about it?
transports, which is a little bit funky,
Then
but
now,
it's used to,
I
it's a
have
starting movement phase, so it's
chance
before
over
you've
here
disembarked anything from your
who will
army,
move 6.
because that would be
How
during
far
the
are you
movement
away
phase.
from me?
And we have, just in case there is a question, because like timing sequencing in 40k is a little bit of a mess. We have ruled for T5S2 events that effects that resolve at the start of the phase must be resolved first before you do anything else. Because there is an argument that you could, you know, anything that happens nebulously during the phase, you could sequence to happen simultaneously or before. Are we shooting the Wraith Guard right now, chat? That seems dangerous.
Do I want to do
Yeah, you could, what was I saying? You could sequence things that happen without a specific timing before this, like, or at the start of the phase, and then choose the order in which you resolve them, and that creates like a ton of broken combos.
So that is 16 in total.
But yeah. How do we roll disembarking after deep striking? We roll that disembarkations happen, unless otherwise specified, happen in the normal movement section of the phase. So you can't, without a special rule, you can't disembark immediately after reserving in.
To move forwards with my knobs. So 9, then maybe a 6, and then it's like an 8.
Yeah, I think that's the intention of the rule. It's just like they just never said it, which is very perfect. It's a perfect game. 40k is perfect with no problems. That one's particularly bad. That one and the shooting phase one. So we also ruled that it's not super relevant for this game, only for ranged attacks. But we also said that shooting makes you then subsequently ineligible to shoot in the future. For the rest of the phase, you can't shoot and then perform an action, for example.
You did bring it down. So
makes drop pod style models pretty useless. Well, no, because drop pods have a special rule. Oh, you mean for the for the charge thing? Yeah, because you can't. You can't charge after disembarking. Yeah, that sucks, but it is what it is. Those were always better for shooting anyway. I think they were, like, you'd always see, like, grav devastators or whatever inside the drop pods, or melted devastators. It was very rarely that you would take shooting units off of drop pods. And I think I've even seen Sternguard veterans out of the drop pods in this edition, to get their rapid fire online. So I don't know if it's like a huge deal.
And I'll still be protected from the big scary Wraith Knight that is right over there, which I don't like.
So it looks like Orks setting up to lock in this bottom right objective. I'm still a little bit worried about the under committal to this objective over here. I would love to see some Grot tanks stand on that, or maybe a truck. Right now, there's a potential that you get a hot blast, you get some devastating wounds off of the Night Spinner, and it just picks up the entire Gretchen unit. It's only 11 wounds there, and you're firing like D6 plus 5. You know, you could roll good. Or we just see Shadow Specters come in and vaporize those dudes too. That could also happen. We bring back dead Dreadnought drop pods? Yeah. Just let drop pods hold a Dreadnought in them. Like, come on. Let them hold one mini Dreadnought. Like, you should be able to put Murder Fang into a drop pod or something, right? And then you, like, rapid ingress it. Alright, here's the Phantasm.
Yeah, that's fair.
Keeping the Autark alive, so we don't lose our ability to Phantasm in the future. And I think that's an easy
I
pick.
can hold up the line for you. So there you go.
Because
Lovely.
the
Well,
Orks were
captured
already
your enemy
taking that
outpost. I'm very
objective,
happy, so go for it.
so there's no
And then I can charge you because you are a coward and you hid away.
so there's no reason to try to keep him there to hold down the objective because you've already lost it to the boy squad. So you just blank that charge, let those guys hang out over there, and keep your Autark safe so you have CP in the future. Good old Phantasm being good, but that does mean that these Warp Spiders aren't running. We're not putting a Wraith Knight onto this objective to secure it. It looks like we're just gonna be eating it.
5d3 will be
Objective pulls for Dutch, by the way. Storm hostile objective and assassination. So he was hoping, I think, for the assassination here. I wonder. I would have loved to have seen a push for the Spirit Seer. A cheeky, epic duel in that Spirit Seer, just crump that guy right in the head would feel real good, but I don't think it's gonna happen.
Down.
Go through it.
3 flats, so 2 die.
Bjorn hates it when you
Alright,
cram him in a
guys,
drop
good
pod.
job.
Yeah,
You
Bjorn's
did
the one
something.
where you actually don't really want to
Then
put him in a
track
drop pod.
number
He's
2
like survivable enough and has a
will
big
put all
laser
his
cannon,
flat
so he just like sort of
endeavors
hangs
into
around in the
the
back line.
Warp Spiders,
But you also
because
can't
I
Vect with him if you
And then he's
put him
going
in a
to
drop pod,
also
which is
the
sad.
shooter will go over there, because why
But
not?
Murderfang though, that guy would love a
And
drop
then
pod.
2 rockets will
He's
go
just
to
like
the
stuck
Wraith
strategic
Guard.
reserving like some sort of
So,
plebeian.
rockets. You killed 2,
Unfortunate.
so you're now 9, so I no longer get blast plus 2, I'll get blast plus 1. So 4 is 6. Hitting you on 5s because they're actual orcs and they cannot aim. They will hit you twice. And they will wound you once, so 1 AP2.
Which truck is this? Sorry?
Truck number 2.
Yeah, so most of the drop pod effects, so like drop pods and Tyrannocytes and that kind of stuff, has a they specify that when you're set up out of reserve, then you disembark immediately. In fact, you must disembark immediately. It's not optional. But yeah, not all the most of the other deep striking transports don't do that.
Because I can point on this vehicle's truck that you're not obscured by the building.
You can't pass over it. Your line of sight can't go through this ruin.
Oh yeah, but you're not obscured by the ruin itself.
I meant
The
the ruin that
obscuring.
you're standing on. There's like a pillar at the corner there.
What's the question?
Is this Wraith Guard in cover from this green truck?
Yes. Yeah, so
Okay.
this blocks visibility. Line of sight can't be traced over this, so you will get cover even if you're blocked by just the base. Unless you're towering.
I've heard the opposite because it's not actually in the way. But that's fair. I'll deliver it to your judgments. So then he just lives because you have a 2-up armor save, right?
Yep.
Yes, you do, because it's perfect. Then the Flammenwerfers. Flammen. That will be a spicy 31 shots. Wounding you on 3s because you are an Aeldari. And I will not get rerolls of 1s or 2s because I'm inside of a truck and thus I do not get my battle data sheet abilities. AP 0.
Okay. 3s.
There you go, 4 die.
Forwards.
Beautiful.
What's the OC
Then-
on the truck? 2.
OC is 2, so then I'll also start rolling my other 2 rockets into your Wraith Guard, which will be 5 plus 2.
Where are the
Hitting you.
rockets from? Sorry.
Rocket truck number 1 with more burner lads.
Okay.
And then on 3s,
Yeah, it's a bit of a weird roll. I imagine that the confusion here is because it's not like spelled out in the visibility rules. The visibility rules like very clearly teach you how to draw true line of sight, but then the ruin rule is basically that the base of a ruin always blocks true line of sight. So it's, yeah, I don't know. It's like kind of confusing. Honestly, yeah, the cover rolls are bad and should feel bad. Wow, look at this hit on the Wraith Guard here. Holy crap, just mass rockets blasting at these dudes. So do we see a War Construct activation here?
do my big shooter, but I don't think the big shooter matters because I have 8 D6 Flammenwerfers. So
Yeah,
28.
probably enough.
Yeah, if you want to remove him, go ahead. But otherwise,
Yeah, that's way
feel
more
free
than I
make
expected, to be
18
honest.
3-ups.
Definitely, chat.
You do not make 18 3-ups.
That was 2 Burna Boy squads. And then we are going to put the Incarn in the objective. Ah, stealing the objective away with the Incarn. Get wrecked, truck. So I think what you do here...
That makes
I guess I
sense
don't
to
know
me.
if that's going to be able
So
to steal that objective away. You can charge the truck into the Incarn and get it to kill it, and then disembark your unit. But I believe that they become battle shocked after they disembark. So, the Incarn actually just lives on that objective now. Yeah, I think a mistake was pulling the Storm Boys off here. But they could charge back in, maybe. But I think they're just going to tie up the Warwalkers, and you're going to prevent at least one of them from shooting, hopefully.
My truck will charge the Incarn.
If it's 1mm tall, 1mm of the base will be obscured? Not necessarily. So you have to remember, Chad, that the line of sight is traced from any point on the attacking model. That's another piece of confusion that a lot of people get wrong too. Is that like, well, the thing is tall, and so any like line between us gets crossed over it. Except that that's not how line of sight traces. Line of sight traces from one point on the attacking model to all points on the defending model. So if you are taller than that base that's intervening between you and the target, then you can draw your line of sight from the highest point of the attacker, and that will most like the cone that it creates, unless the defender is like literally base to base with the ruin, will most likely pass over and not through all of the three-dimensional elements of the ruin that you're talking about. It's something, true line of sight's bad, it should feel bad. Boom, that was a big tank shock right there. Plows the Incarn for 4 damage. Let's go.
I'm gonna see if like truck number 2 could theoretically make it. You were like based by my truck because I have to base you. So I'm going to roll my truck and see if something good lands out of it. If it doesn't, then you know, oh well. 7. I should have declared into your Wraith Guard. I'm dumb. Oh well. That was something I thought of, but I did not actually declare.
And what are the vehicle rolls when it comes to combat? It's the same as Greater Demons. Monsters and vehicles operate exactly the same way. When you're in melee, you if you are a monster or a vehicle, you can shoot into your own melee or out of melee. If you do, you get a -1 penalty. And other units can shoot into you, and if they do, they also get a -1 penalty. Pistol weapons, ignore the -1 penalty if you have them. And you can't shoot blast weapons into an engaged unit. So if you're engaged and you have a blast weapon, you can't shoot at your own feet. And if you're shooting at a vehicle that's engaged, you can't shoot it with the blast weapon. But otherwise, you're unrestricted. You just take that -1 penalty. But that is annoying for the Warwalkers, and it will most likely mean that unless the Warwalkers want to fall back and prevent and stop shooting entirely, the Storm Boys will, well, probably not get shot to death, hopefully.
And then it will not ruin because it's strength 5. Oh, it's strength 6, I think, actually. Let me look that up. Where are you, truck? There you are, truck. Yes, it's strength 6, actually, so 1 AP 0. There you go, you're fine. And then attacks back.
Okay, Incarn. 5 attacks. Hang on to Aeldari roll. Toughness. What's the toughness of a truck?
C8.
Okay, what they got on 3s? 5 wounds, AP 4. Maybe 2.
5 wounds on my 5-up invul. I will make 3 of them, and then 2.
Okay, so it's D6 plus 1. Do you have a fuel open?
I do not.
Okay, I'll roll the first one.
7. Do I explode? I do not. And then I will disembark from my transport. That is number 1. So I need to disembark wholly within 3 and outside of engagement range. So there's pretty much just 2 thick.
Almost saved that truck, chat. That would have been spicy. Just lock the Incarn in there for a bit. And that would have made it much more difficult to engage with these Burna Boys. But as it stands, the Burna Boys are probably just going to get picked up by the something. Probably the Incarn.
It will be 2. So the spoons die. Goodbye, spoons. And then there goes the truck.
Points on the board. Reaper, bring it down.
Yeah, there you go. Beautiful. And then that is my entire fight phase, so it will go over to you. I now control this objective. Oh wait, no, because I'm battle shocked.
Yep.
But that goes away at the start of your turn, I think, but I'm not sure.
No.
I don't think so, actually. What do you
Battle
think?
Shock falls off in your command phase.
Okay, it might. Alright, then you still own the points. Oh well.
Okay, so I get 5 for frame rate.
Yes.
The start of the controlling player's next
I
turn,
get a
technically.
CP for my-
Oh, right, I have my things. I do not get Assassination. I'm going to discard it for
At
a
least they
CP,
get to
because I
Overwatch?
did
Well,
my
they
game
can't,
one,
because they're still Battle Shock, chat.
and then I do get
Yeah,
Storm Monster objective.
Getting knocked
So
out of your
the
transport's
objective
actually kind of a
will
big
give me
deal.
5 points.
It also can't charge that turn, so can't can't even heroically intervene with it, even if you have a thing that lets you do strats on Battle Shocked units. Yeah, unfortunate, but I think that we definitely forgot about the in-card teleport. It's so easy to forget about because Eldar have so many reactive abilities. You're just like, man, I hope that I get to do something ever.
Yeah, I did say
And then
I
no.
would.
So killed almost half of the Wraith Guard. One comes back from the Spirits here. But, I mean, we'll see if we can maybe clear that unit. The question mark now is that the Eldar need to deal with the Burna Boys, and they have to deal with this big Beast Snagga unit. And the Grot Tank. So there's like 3 very dangerous threats to them right now. And if you let those Grot Tanks take another shot like that, I mean, that could just be death. Right, to the Wraith Guard if they perform as well as they did last turn. I guess it was the Grot Tanks and the heavy weapons out of the Burn Up Boys squads.
I get
Oh, yeah, true. So, guess not.
Eldar gets to play during both turns of the game. Yeah, they get a whole battle round, but you only get 1 turn. That's a good way to put it, chat. I agree with that for sure.
1 win, CP0.
1, 5 up, don't make it, he dies.
Second one, 2 hits. Aeldari roller wins. 2 more wins, CP0.
Mm-hmm. I make 1, the 1 lives. So, there we go. Beautiful. And now it's your turn. Sorry about that.
Yeah, no problem.
So taking a look, looks like we only have Shadow Specters and Deep Strike for Eldar. We have another unit of Warp Spiders, but they aren't in Deep Strike. They're just off the side of the table here. Kind of literally off the table. A little bit unfortunate, but that's what it is. I would be surprised if we didn't see the Shadow Specters come down to try to blow up some grots. If Eldar could potentially confirm control of this objective with the Shadow Spectre shoot and scoot. So they could potentially, if they got LOS to the grot over here on the side basically and then moved, I guess that would be tough. To be 9 inches away from the front of the unit and within 6 of the objective, but there is the potential that they could steal that objective this turn. And that would be disaster. I actually wouldn't have been disappointed to see a rapid ingress from that unit. You could put it like here, maybe. That might be in line of sight. There, or maybe like over here. And then just move, shoot, move again. Take the objective. That'd be nice. Pushing Warp Spiders into the side here again. Now, the part that's going to be killer is this deploy teleport homers.
I will quickly get a battle shock token so I don't forget that they are battle
Where did
shocked.
we deploy teleport homers last turn? Did I miss that?
You can't overwatch with them. They're battle shock.
Yeah, that's why I'm putting it down there so I don't forget and accidentally declare Overwatch when I can't.
Somebody in the middle? I must have missed something. Maybe they exploded. Oh, we didn't. No, we just got Bring It Down. Yeah. So we're 2 turns off of Deploy Teleport Homers. And against a high-scoring army like Orks, that's not a really great start. I think Aeldari maybe deployed a little too conservatively. I guess what they didn't want to do is allow for like a turn 1 springboard onto their army, but you have Phantasm. You basically, if you give them 1 or 2 units, you're functionally unchargeable. The Rangers have their own reactive move baked in, and then you can Phantasm another unit. So you can actually put 2 units very aggressive, and then that you can threaten Deploy Teleport Homers with. And I think that might kill them. They're certainly going to max out Bring It Down, but then they're looking at whatever they get for primary plus Bring It Down, and they may get a relatively low score in Teleport Homers here. Maybe a 12 if they can get it the last 3 turns of the game, which is like, respectable, but not great. Especially against an army that's as good at tactical as Orks are. I feel like you don't use Rampant Ingress enough. Yeah. I would say that's probably, like, good use of Rampant Ingress is probably one of the most underrated skills in 40k, and the one that is gonna upend the game once like everyone gets a hold of it, because I think the actual power of Rapid Ingress, like, people don't really understand quite yet. I mean, if you watch the WTC, you probably watched John Lennon's game. I think it was into Team Sweden, and they'd set up this huge Alpha Strike with like 12 obliterators into his Adeptus Custodes army. He rapid ingressed 2 units almost directly in front of the obliterators, so that they just didn't have enough shots to kill everything, and then the Custodes got into the Chaos Space Marine lines and wiped their whole army in 2 turns. It was absolutely nuts. And the armies that are able to use rapid ingress effectively, where they have like rights of battle effects and they can target multiple units with the stratagem, they go crazy, absolutely crazy. Or units that can ignore denial zones, things like Trigons and Inceptors and stuff that can come in 3 inches away from you, that have these like insanely open rapid ingress spots. Yeah, get absolutely nuts. Like, you see a situation like this where like there's Grots in the back here, and if you have a 3-inch deep strike, you can just deep strike directly behind them, and then they can't do anything to you because they're Grots. Then you just take the objective almost automatically to cut the subsequent turn. Gets crazy.
Yeah.
Inceptors rapid ingressing 3 inches is nuts, yeah. Inceptors are one of the best units in the game, and I'll die on that hill. But anything, because of the existence of rapid ingress, anything that has that 3-inch deep strike roll is almost automatically good.
I would still get cover on a bunch of
I actually really want to.
Maybe.
I want to put my Trigon back into my Tyranid list. It's so expensive, but it's so strong for exactly that reason.
This line, which means like this half has light cover. I mean, just cover, I guess. You would need to go over this point.
Any chance for the Orcs still? I think the question that you have to be asking is, what are the chances for the Eldar right now? They were able to keep primary, but they lost their home objective. And if they undercommit to this boys squad right here, this Beastnaga squad, like the game could just like flip on its head right now. Orcs could just blow out primary, like be angled to a 50 on primary, and make it very difficult for the Eldar to come back. Did I try Sean Naden's WTC list? I didn't. What was his list? Guess I could look it up.
Alright.
It was like really monster heavy, right? A bunch of Terran FXs. I like monster lists more than I like playing horde mode stuff. And even the artillery stuff. But I don't love Terran FXs. I don't know why. People find success with them, but maybe it's like I don't know. Maybe it's the meta I'm always prepared for, but like the Acid Spray Flamer is sort of a threat, but it's not actually that good. And for 200 points, I kind of want like things that do more damage.
Yeah, that's be fine. So we'll do the easy one first. The Wart Spiders will shoot these burner lads.
Mm-hmm. I'll pay 1 CP for -1 to wound.
Okay.
-1 to wound on the Burna Boys, not the Beast Snagas. That's interesting.
So it's 6s with your -1
Yes.
to wound, right?
Yep. So 5 mortal wounds, right?
Yes.
So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5.
This Warwalker will shoot the Storm Lad it's engaged with.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, there, reroll one of the hits. 2 hits. Reroll one of the wins. 2 wins. AP3.
2, 5 ups. Make niner. Goodbye, Storm Lad.
Shadow Spectre as well. Deploy a teleport on that.
Hell of a time navigating the WTC document here. The
Night Spinner.
you played Hive Tyrant, Narrow Tyrant, a Carnifex brick with Death Spitters.
No, the Wraith Knight will shoot.
Oh, interesting. That's where the Deathbringer the Death Spitter Carnifex brick came from.
11 man.
11 man.
Maliceptor, Triple Pyrovore, Trigon, Tyrannifex. Seems good. I have to play that Carnifex brick. I like the idea. Just have like a really, really good hybrid sort of tank. Pretty solid.
Into a 6.
I'm so in on Maliceptors right now, though. I would just drop all the Tyrannifexes for Maliceptors and just like say go. Maybe one Tyrannifex for Maliceptor, and then you get more utility. There's no Gargoyles in this list, which is probably because it's like very focused into particular matchups. But Gargoyles are so insane as an all-comers list. I would try to fit some in.
And then
That unit moving 24 inches in a turn is like absolutely nuts. They're just OC2 Warp Spiders, 10 models in the unit.
4, 6 up Phenopains. I will make 1. You will kill 3. That's good.
Yeah, and then 6 Dark Cannons.
Wow. Big undershot from the Wraith Knight into the Beast Snagga boys. Now the awkward part is that you have to out OC the Night Spinner. And in order to do that, you have to have the Beast Snaggas remain on the objective. And you can't take damage on the character.
And also 5 and 6, but my Phenopain isn't a 6 up. So you kill 2.
So I think what... Yeah, there's not too much you can do there about that. You just have to hope. Hope and pray. But what we may see is that in order to preserve the models on the objective, you have to break coherency with the character and actually lose the character to coherency, which is a small price to pay for a wild primary swing, because that is, I believe, 8 points taking your opponent's home objective. Or 6 points. All right. Well, that's not quite as good, but it's still strong. Especially when those are points that your opponent's like certainly not going to be able to recoup very easily.
I think these 2 lads do have cover, but it would place me outside of the thing. And so this guy does not have cover, but this guy does have cover. So I'm going to take the first on the guy with cover. He makes it, and then the second one, he does not. So then he makes 2 6-up Phenopains. He does not. He dies. And then how many mortal wounds?
4 more.
4 6-ups. I will make 1.
Leaves one guy alive
This
on
guy
one.
has 2 wounds. And then this guy has 1 wound.
No way. Wow. That will at least loosen the objective, I believe, because it's OC3 on the Night Spinner, yeah. Oh well. A valiant effort, chat. Gonna lose that objective, but at least in a position to prevent the Eldar from scoring it. So as long as they can keep the Eldar down to 5 primary a turn, and the Orks are gonna score 6. We also didn't see the Night Spinners go drop on the Gretchen here. The Shadow Specters. The Shadow Specters are just getting deployed teleport homers, so they're gonna be scoring 4 points, which is good. So at least we're on the path to a 16 pointer on deploy teleport. which is good enough.
Mm-hmm.
But if we don't have, we didn't put anything into the Grat tanks. The Grat tanks might just turn around and blow those dudes up. Maybe, not sure.
Mm-hmm. And then T5.
Yep. So 5s. 4 saves. Maybe one damage.
4 saves. I will make 1 damage. 2. So then, so the first on the 1, he will take them both, and then on the leader, he will take 4. So he goes down to 2, and this guy dies.
Okay, and then we'll put 6 wraith cannons into him. Yep. I'm sorry, I rolled too many dice.
Nope.
5 hits. Who's Eldar reroll 1, and I'll turn this into a 6 with Fate's Messenger. 3 saves, and then 2 mortal.
How many saves?
3 regular saves, and then 2 death saves.
Ooh, I rolled 4, but 3 out of 4 are a 5-up, which is very sad for me. So I guess I'll reroll. I will fail all of them this time, rather than 3 out of 4.
You can rest assured he was probably dead to the mortals anyway.
Yeah, fair. But it would have been exciting, you know. It's like roll your mortals.
What's in truck number 4?
Truck number 4 has Beast Snagger lads.
Okay, we'll just should we incarnate these burner lads beside it.
Oh no.
So then considering an incarn teleport there to deal with the truck, go stab it with the big sword. She probably kills the truck, but it is a little bit awkward because we are a WAAAGH turn. But the WAAAGH is about to turn off. We don't get advance and charge anymore. And again, you can't. Here we go inside the transport.
Wounding me on 4s.
Four. Why the winning on 4s?
I still have the -1 to wound I gave them since the Wolf Spiders.
Oh yeah.
I will make 1. You will kill all 3.
I almost wonder if we see a teleport off that just to engage the second truck, prevent another tank shock.
So I get 1 teleport over, and I didn't kill any more trucks that turn, did I?
Mm-hmm.
Over the.
Well, we got rid of the Burner Boys and we got rid of the Beast Snagga Boys. But that was definitely not as much damage as I think you could expect out of an Eldar army. The Grot tanks, the Git tanks as they're called, the Grot tanks being
guys, you give me a CP. Then now I'm going to draw 2 cards.
just being untouched is pretty good right now. We have Tempting Target and Defense Stronghold getting pulled for Orks. Defense Stronghold might actually be tough now that the Shadow Specters are down.
Easy enough considering we can't really make it over here. I hope.
This truck number 2 has another unit of Burna Boys in it, so I think just have to disembark and try to deal with the Warp Spiders.
Tempting target, maybe it's successful because, you know. How much OC do you have on that point?
1, 3, Warwalkers are 2, and
you have 1 guy on there, not 2 Warp Spiders.
yeah,
So, okay. Oh, I confused the Warwalker for the Warp Spiders. They're very similar names. So you have 6 on there, right?
Yep.
6.
Ooh, and this Warwalker got tuned up a little bit. The tanks could actually knock it down.
So then
or the heavy weapons out of the truck. Those Warwalkers are tough to kill. Probably one of the hardest profiles for points to kill in the game. Given that they have not only a Fate diceable 4+ invulnerable save, but also a -1 to wound effect.
This truck will get to move 12 inches.
So it's a little bit questionable whether you take them down. It's never a sure thing.
And then it will be a 7-inch charge. That's going to be nice. Hopefully I'll be able to kill them or just engage them in combat. That would be very nice. Then
Looking for a charge into the
I
Shadow
have
Specters. A
these
nice
guys.
tank shock there would be good.
They will move
Yeah, okay. So we're
10
gonna roll
inches
the tanks around
to
the
be
corner
down
here to try
here.
to get rid of that Warwalker.
And,
And the Incarn's already
these
on the
guys will
objective,
move
so you don't give
3.
up a good Incarn teleport in that case. I think what we'll probably see is either a
7.
Phantasm to put the Wraith Knight on
That's
the
fair
objective
enough.
because he's 10 OC, so he actually
Then
confirms
now
control of it.
in truck number 3,
Unless some weird stuff happens.
Lads, I will firstly move truck 4.
Or we see
So truck number
one of
4
these
is going to move.
units that's in danger get pulled out of the way.
So
What you have to do,
I'll
I think, is
10
move the
inches.
truck so that it body blocks
And
the
then I'll
Wraith Knight's
rotate for 2
movement
inches.
onto the objective, and then
So I would
disembark
be
behind it, and
on
you
the
have to just
wall
eat the Overwatch
over
from one of the
here.
Flamers. Pushing
I
a truck
don't
onto the
think that will
objective.
be
Looks like we're gonna
successful,
move and then
because I want to
disembark
deploy
probably to
my
take it.
troops on the other side of the wall, but I can't charge them, so I don't think that will succeed. I'll just do a regular walk.
No, we're just gonna
So-
disembark and charge, yeah.
Peace,
That's the safest place to go.
Go forth.
And then even if that Night Spinner decides to stick around, I don't think it gets killed by the Beast Nagas here,
Yeah.
but it will get beat up a little bit,
Probably
and then
within
it will get -1 to
3,
hit.
so
Another
finish
-1 to hit baked
should
in
be, they're not.
if it sticks
So
around in
then we'll
combat.
just move a bit back. Go forth, my lads. Then they're going to move 6 over there. So you will not have your home objective. That's very rude of you to think. I will earn 7 points on holding my own home objective and 1 point for primary, which I forgot to add. Then next, I have this truck over here. So I could move and then disembark or not. Which I think I will have to do. So I think it should be like about 3 inches of rotation, and then I can just move the truck like 9 inches. This is 7 inches, so I think that's doable. Would you agree?
Yeah.
Thank you. Then I do need to be outside of 1. And then I'm going to put my guys outside.
Yeah, so I think for sure we're gonna see a Phantasm with the Wraith Knight here to prevent that tempting target from scoring. And that'll be an awkward one for Orks.
There we go.
Because their other objective, even if they can score it, only scores
Beautiful.
3. So they're actually going to start falling behind on tertiary if they can't take that objective.
Go for it.
I wonder if it was possible to prevent the move here with Phantasm, just based on the fact that there's a little bit of a hole here and that the Wraith Knight can move.
So +2 each because it's a 10-man units. So 5 and 3 is 8. Just roll a 6 up. You do it 3 times because you feel like overkill. Easy money.
Big WAAAGH for sure.
It's still within 12 of the first hero. Fate dice. A 3 away into 6.
Mm-hmm. And then another. Yeah.
1 save and then 46 more.
Oh my
Alright.
god. So
One-
huge Overwatch it looks like from the Wraith Knight.
And then your mortal wounds.
And we Fate Dice into 1 devastating wound. It's going to deal 11. Yeah, burns the unit. Oh, well, just kidding. Yeah, didn't even need a Phantasm. Why Phantasm when you can just Overwatch and kill people? Oh, man, chat.
You had hope.
Overwatch is good and fun.
You had hope.
How are Orks doing so well? Because they're really good at scoring. And Aeldari, less good at scoring. Turns out than Orks.
Good, and now
That's generally how you beat Aeldari, is you trade your whole army into them for points. And they oftentimes have a tough time gaining those points back. So I think it's time to abandon Tempting Target. That Overwatch was too strong. Yeah. And oh no, are we doubling down? Oh man,
They'll be coming out of the woodwork.
disembarking another boys squad. This is aggressive. It's very aggressive.
I'll need to
So
check out
I mean, let's say you just burn Tempting Target for command point.
for my
You get 7 points this turn. Your opponent's gonna be locked to 5. You probably will score
There
3
we go.
for defense stronghold on your turn. If Eldar are locked to 5 points every turn, except for maybe the last turn, then they're gonna get like 20 points, maybe 26 on primary. But you're looking at least 28, and most likely, I think it's likely that we see we start to see controlling the Eldar home objective this coming turn. I don't know if it's that reasonable for the Beast Aegis to get killed if they engage the Night Spinner and prevent it from shooting them. We could see a max in primary. So you're probably up like 10 points on primary to begin with. So I don't know if you need to super overextend to get secondaries right now. Especially because the Eldar are going to be probably only scoring... They've already dropped 4 points on their secondaries because they missed a turn of deploy teleport homers.
Probably better just as a threat if you ever come over to my points, because then I'm just going to score as much on primaries as possible, so I'm fine with that, pretty much.
That first time.
So then now...
Any big railgun enjoyers? Everyone enjoys a good big railgun. A big charge, just the surging railgun.
Will do their best. Truck number 4. What does truck number 4 want to do? Does it want to attack a Night Spinner? No, not really.
Are they Grot tanks? 100% they are Grot tanks, Chad. We in fact saw those Grot tanks go absolutely ham last turn, and they ripped 5 Wraithguard off the table in one shooting phase.
It's going to
those little guys are pretty good.
For, let's say, 2 inches. And that's going to move 2 inches. And then it's going to advance, because it's not going to shoot or anything, and who cares about a big shooter? And it's going to sit here, away from a scary Wraith Knight, so you don't get 3 victory points on Bring It Down. And then your secondary is useless, and my evil plan will succeed.
Yeah, evil plan's going pretty well, isn't it?
So far, you're not doing well on secondary points, which is my plan on winning, giving you a maximum of 60. Or well, like probably like 65 and a bit, but you know, it's working. So then, plan B, starving you off of primary points is not...
Get less of a beating tomorrow. You can't beat them. They'll run away, though. They'll scamper. They've got that little reactive move. The boss comes over to give them a little... to box their ears. And they just, scooch away. Please, no.
So we're going over to shooting.
I know you're moving phase. I'm going to Phantasm.
Go for it.
Ooh, here's a Phantasm. Where are we going?
Oh, you're approaching me.
This is just a regular boss, right?
Yeah, it's just a gent.
You do have to stay.
It's just a little guy. You're inside of engagement range.
Yeah. To stay outside of initiative.
There you go.
There you go. So we're trying to prevent the Orks from getting onto the objective. Interestingly, you did make their charge much easier, though. And they can move through the truck. I don't know if this was the right call, if I'm being honest. I think they may just charge the Wraith Knight now. Although it is a massive OC on this objective. 16 OC. I don't know if the boys are going to be able to defeat that, but we'll see. Unless we lose this Warwalker to the Grot tanks, yeah.
That will be 5 D3 Rocketerinos, which will hopefully get it because I only need 1.
Oh, not a great shot.
Like that, I guess. So 8
the
of
Grot
them.
tanks here. They went off last turn, but not so much this turn. Good hit roll.
Perfectly balanced. Can't be unhappy with that. And then on 3s. And that will be 3 AP2.
It'd be 4s to wound, right?
What was that, Travi?
Oh, yeah, minus 1 to win.
Oh, the Warwalker?
Yeah, and shooting.
Oh, the -1 to wound, so then falls. I don't think... So 2 of them, I think, then, if they're -1 to wound.
Yeah, I'll feel it.
But you rolled a 1, and it's flat 3, so...
Well, there you go.
Yeah. Goodbye. Do you explode? No, you don't. How dare you? How dare you not explode? Very rude. Base Snaggle lads don't have anyone to shoot. The Orc lads do, I guess. Can they shoot the Warp Spiders? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 can. So 7 will. And 3 I will not bother with shooting a Wraith Knight. Like, okay. So 2 will hit. And then 1 will wound. So 1 AP 0. And 1 6 to destroy my dreams. Lovely, lovely. That will be my shooting phase because I don't want to reduce my charge. Don't want to. Well, I guess they can. They're not going to kill you. So I'm going to roll 10 dice for the Beast Snaggers. They get to re-roll because they're fighting a vehicle. And then they're going to wound you on 5s because you're T7. So 2 AP 0 on the Night Spinner.
T9 on.
Oh, T9. Then nothing at all because they're strength full.
T7 was last edition.
My bad.
That's
well.
some old rules
So
we're
then-
referencing right now.
That will be that. Over to the charge phase. The Beast Snagger lads will charge the Night Spinner because they don't like him. will make it with an
Whoa!
11.
That is a good charge roll there, chat.
So
So that's actually going to put a lot of these models behind this wall, and that makes it much more difficult to get line of sight to them. You have to remember that this ruin is separate, so non-towering models will not be able to trace line of sight over it. So if you're trying to peel this angle, even if the Beast Snagas are inside this building, the other ruin will block line of sight to them. That's
I need to go
huge.
over here,
Did get a couple that have to stick around.
and then I need at least one of them as an intermediary between the two.
Yeah,
so that's
unfortunately, the
Orks,
requirement to base is making things a bit awkward.
And then the other one will.
No, this is in
well, I
shooting,
guess.
chat. They were just firing their
That's not
sluggers.
Nice. That's not good. Oh well.
They're little pistol weapons.
Yeah, I'm forced to be on the objective, so can't do shenanigans. Oh well. So they are over there, and then this truck is going into the Shadow Spectres for a 7-inch. They will make it with a 7-inch because this is an exact 7-inch charge.
But you'll have to take some movement to get around the ruin, right? You can't move in a straight line over the corner of that wall.
Oh, it's right over. I will move forwards. So 2. Would you agree that I can move over here?
Can you even get with it if it's exactly inches away? If you have to make, like,
I'm gonna
enough rank
try.
of an inch,
I'm gonna try, and if I can't, then I'll try to move back, and then
maybe
I'll.
7.9, that may be, I don't know. Just probably double check it. This matters for Astro.
Yeah. So this is about 7. Yeah, it's about 7.7.
Yeah, if it's less than, that should be fine. It's just if it was exactly 8 in the first place.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like the snap
Fair.
measurement's weird for these guys. It measures the middle, which is why it was funky.
Yeah.
Oh
So,
yeah,
problem,
slightly in the middle.
yeah, the actual
I'll
distance.
just move it up 7, and then I'll just put it over here. Yeah, that should very much be within 1 inch. And then I'll pay a CP for tank shock. So hopefully you horribly die in a fire. So I
Rude.
just need
So
5
1
up.
CP?
Yeah, 1 CP. So I went from 3 to 2. So that would be
Oh,
4
look at
mortal
that.
wounds, please.
Bonk. The old
It's
plow
lovely,
for
actually.
4 mortals. Damn.
There we go.
These trucks,
And
dude.
then next,
These things are doing work.
this truck is going to charge the Wraith Knight because it's feeling very ballsy today. With a 4, it is not horribly good though. So we'll go over here. And then the lads will charge the Wraith Knight. With a 6. Which they should make.
Yeah, so this
Yes.
the truck charge here is very smart. I'm surprised about this Phantasm actually because I think it might backfire on Fenomeno.
It's just that vehicles can't move through other vehicles, right?
It allows the Orks not only to open up real estate on the objective, but it also allows them to take up a bunch of real estate on the Wraith Knight's base, which means that he can do exactly what he's doing right here, which is that a lot of models can then pile in and consolidate, or charge and combat move without getting base to base.
That should be within 2 inches. It is. Thank you.
Yeah, so there is now a chance that we can steal this objective away, especially since we've killed the Warwalker. Oh, well, maybe not if we don't put enough models there.
There we go.
So this is currently 14, so you need 7 beast snaggers in the objective. Right now we can only get 6.
I do not have any other charges.
Well, just kidding.
So,
I don't know if that's going to help actually that much. I think we needed to be able to put more models on this side, basically.
But then I spot that there's nothing you really can do something that I can influence, so I guess I'll just start with my Orc lads.
So outside of engagement range of the Incarn currently. And is able to get 6 on the
closer?
objective.
Probably. 5.1, 3.
Yeah.
Should be closer, yeah.
But unless you can damage the Wraith Knight with this attack, which I guess is theoretically
Now they
possible,
just
but
need to
unlikely,
not die. I'm sure they will succeed.
then
So yeah, I'll fight with those.
you're probably not taking the
these 3
objective,
can
but it's worth
fight,
the shot
and
anyway.
then 4 more can fight, but 3 cannot. I will start with the Knob. He has a Power Claw, so he'll be hitting you on 4s. He will hit you none of the times. Good job. And a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, which will be 18 attacks because 3 each. Hitting you on 3s, exploding 6s. So, and then I am not strength 7 or the like, so we need you on
These
6s.
are just regular
and it'll be 2.
boys, so
2
unfortunately
AP1.
not getting the rerolls for beast
Adorable.
snaggers.
They
It's just
do a
make that a little
thing.
bit tougher.
Very proud. Would you like to interrupt?
No, I'm good.
Yeah.
1 damage, let's
expected.
go.
So now I'll do truck number 2 with a wrecking ball. It will not hit. Then I'm going to drive you over. It will not hit. Good job. Then this truck, because it has charged, it can power in. And now it can fight. So wrecking ball on a 4-up. It will hit. Strength 10. It will wound. AP 0.
And you've still got wheel attacks,
Wheel
right?
attacks, right?
Yeah, and I still have wheel attacks, 3 of them. They're nothing special though.
Okay. AP 0.
AP 0.
Good.
You're fine. See, it's all good. And then the wheels of the bus will not hit you at all.
Well,
So that's
a
that.
valiant effort.
And then over here, I will have my gent hit you very hard, hopefully. Hitting on
Hold on.
3s.
Sorry. My lightning fast this.
Alright. I am re-rolling hit rolls.
What are they hitting on? Strength
on.
5?
Yeah, the
Power
boss
one?
unfortunately was killed in the fire. He tried to get an Artark, and the Artark, it turned out, was an illusion the entire time and phantasmed away. And then he got blown up by wraith cannons. It was very sad.
So,
Definitely a boss in that unit would have been great, but you can't. The bosses can't be everywhere, unfortunately.
I am strength 7, so I'm going to wound you on 5s. That will be nothing. Very disappointed in you, Mr. Gent. And
that was
then
just
his lads,
regular
his
unit.
friends, his buddies. Which you get to reroll these. And then they'll be wounding you on 5s. And that will be 13 AP1.
Pretty solid.
Just fill all of them. You nearly do.
Almost, yeah.
That's good for me. I'll be happy with that. I'm not ecstatic, but I'll be happy.
Nice.
So yeah, that is that one. I
So we
don't
damaged the
think
Night
we
Spinner. It is
have
already engaged in melee,
anything
so that doesn't do
else.
too much, but, you know,
So, would you like
it
to
happened.
fight
It happened, for real.
We'll do the Night Spinner first, just because I'm down here.
Yeah, go for it.
3 attacks. Aeldari reroll, 2 hits. Another Aeldari reroll. Am I strength 6 on this thing in combat?
Yes.
I am.
I am.
Uh-huh. I will make one, and then I will make the Feel of Pain. So you do nothing.
Okay, 1 Shadow Spectre.
into a truck.
So I think ultimately this ended up being a kind of disappointing turn for Orks. A big part of it was that Overwatch that wiped the entire Bird Boys unit. You just can't plan around that. The lottery pull of Eldar Overwatch didn't go their way, so it is what it is. And that does mean that I don't think we're going to get Tempting Target. I don't think we're going to deny Eldar primaries. Awkwardly didn't get these guys inside the building entirely. I thought with that big charge they would be able to, but I guess not.
So,
yeah, the stratagem just says, just after an Eldar unit from your army makes a fallback move, your unit is eligible to shoot and declare a charge.
okay. Fair enough. Annoying but fair. And then
just the Wraith Knight will stomp on some boys.
what is Ori's attacks? 1 moment. Oh,
Okay.
you're already running. I will not look. You have 5 attacks. It'll be fine. You can roll.
Yeah, I think that it seems like a lot of people have been sort of dropping Eldar because they're so powerful. Especially like in the local scene where it's not super duper competitive. Like Eldar just if you don't come in with a perfectly formulated game plan, kind of like what we're seeing right now, right? Where like Orcs have these a subtle number of coin flips that they can push to try to push the matchup over. Most factions can't do that, and if you're not prepared for the matchup, then you just get rolled over. There's like nothing you can do, and I think it's very toxic, especially. I mean, even at the highly competitive level, especially at the lower levels.
I thought it was like 8. So I'll just take away those.
Yeah, I'm just gonna pull off the objective here because we can't take it at this point.
And that will be the fight phase.
Yeah, so I think we might not have done enough damage this turn. Not killing this Shadow Spectre was huge, because if we killed the Shadow Spectre, then we at least forced the Eldar to like commit Warp Spiders to the middle, or commit Warp Spiders to closer in. I guess they could access the deployment zone over here. But this just means that the Shadow Spectre can fall back, operate normally with it for a CP, and just hang out, basically. And continue to score deployment zone, deploy teleport homer points, which is very unfortunate for Orks, which are trying to keep that score down as much as possible. Half the players in singles tournaments take it. I think that, like, I think that the stats like aren't particularly representative of the actual meta, because Eldar are still, I believe, like a vast majority of factions, at least in the US. I don't know that, I don't have numbers to back that up, but I do know that, obviously being an unreasonably and sort of undefeatably powerful faction means that there is there is an overrepresentation, but generally speaking, I don't think that they're as high as like a Space Marine is when Space Marines are good. Space Marine factions are good. So they're not even that highly played, but they're just so good that the small number of players that play them end up doing extremely, extremely well. We'll for sure get a new metagame next month. Yeah. Definitely, it's going to shake things up. And especially if we see some of the bottom factions start to get ticked up. So I'd like to see Death Guard, Adeptus Sororitas, Leagues of Votann. Like, if they get big changes, that would be huge. Hugely transformative. That would be so cool. Honestly, I'm crossing my fingers a little bit for, like, Eldar being, like, struck with the Hammer of Thor. Maybe some points nerfs to Custodes and GSC. Some, like, mechanical changes to Necrons. And then maybe, like, fix Spore Mines and Tyranids. Even as a Tyranid player, it gets kind of boring. I think I would like the faction to be oriented somewhere else. Biovores are actually they may still be playable without If they were back at 45 points, but you couldn't score with them, I think they would actually be very playable. Their gun is very good. Hex Gecko and Fahey, thanks for the follows, by the way. Some armies need a complete rework, yeah. So we're back in Fenomeno's turn, taking a long pause here. Actually kind of low on time. That's what we're getting, which is interesting because the Orks are much higher model count, much more aggressive, but we've just been very contemplative on the Aeldari turns. They said no changes to Sororita since they have a 41% win rate. Well, the cutoff that they were looking at is 45. They didn't mention Sororitas in their video, but they said that everything below 45 is what they're going to be looking at. I would be surprised to see no changes to Sororitas. At least points changes, right? Like, at the very least, you see some of the core units get knocked down in points cost. Like, you reverse the indirect fire nerf for Exorcists, at least, right? Like, that's kind of nuts that they got hit with that. You gonna see a reactive move off the Grat tanks, maybe? 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 Alright, you have to now. Come on. Come on, Grat tanks. Get out of there.
Works by just flicker jump to here. They're fine, they don't take a mortal.
Agony.
I'm gonna spend a CP on the Night Spinner to fall back and shit.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So we are just gonna be keeping the Warp Spiders from shooting and letting the Shadow Spectre hang out for a bit. Remove Goblins from Aeldari, increase points for Custodians in GSC, call it a day. But at the very least, they'll give Votan a bump. That could happen for sure, but
I think their leadership sucks.
I'm expecting something more transformative. I think it's naive to expect like whole faction reworks, because that's what people are asking for, right? Where they're just like, well, my army really doesn't do anything, so it should get like a total rewrite, and you know they're not going to do that. But it does feel like, you know, back in the day when Space Marines were really bad, they gave them Armor of Contempt, right? They like gave them a huge update, and I don't think we're going to see anything to that level, but I'm hoping we see some transformative changes like that. If every book doesn't at least get points changes? I don't know. I don't think every book needs points changes. Most of the armies of the game I think are fine. It's just like the top 4-ish, and then maybe the bottom 3. So like maybe 30% need changes. And to some extent you can fix some of these factions with points. You just give them like some super cheap aggressive units, and suddenly they have a game plan, even if it's not very good or unique.
Yeah, that's fine. There's more worker here. Spitting.
Mechanicus is weird. Yeah, I think the difference is that Mechanicus actually has a game plan and a functional army rule. Where they're just like, well, we create a gun line. It's a big gun line, and our
only shit is star cannons,
aggressive infantry is like pretty good. So just do that.
You can't shoot the blast into combat.
Yeah, so we'll just shoot the star cannons at the blind. 4s, Aeldari roll. 4 hits. 3s. Aeldari roll.
250-point sanguinary guard for Blood Angels. Yeah, that's nuts.
Damage
The fact that they're like more than a Terminator, which is already an overpriced like
Reduced
profile,
to
it's
ashes.
kind of silly.
Shoot the Wraith Guard at the boys on my home objective.
I think Fenomeno might not have understood how this Wraith Knight works.
Yeah.
He can't fire his Wraith cannons into melee with himself, but he can shoot them out of melee. So he could just shoot the other Beast Snegas with the Wraith Knight. But he's not doing that. Maybe looking for a charge? I guess, yeah, he's looking for a charge, yeah. But Dutch doing a good job of blocking line of sight to all the vehicles from him.
Yeah, sorry.
He's got to be kicking himself for this reactive move play here. Not reactive moving at those guys is a little bit sus. He can't shoot into melee because the Wraith cannons are blast. You can't fire blast weapons at engaged units. So he can shoot out of melee because he's a vehicle, or because he's a monster. But he can't shoot into his own melee. He can't shoot at his feet.
First one is 4. This is just the regular shots, and the second one is 1. So
I'll
go for it,
roll a 1, I guess. It's a 6. I save it. There you go.
Okay, so the first guy dies from the 4 damage shot.
Yep.
2d6 mortals, another 4
Cool.
mortals.
Which will be actually 3.
What a great roll from the Wraith Guard.
The one walker roll should be...
The one time the blast isn't good? Yeah.
What?
I mean, if I had my way, like, vehicles wouldn't even shoot when they're engaged at all. It's weird that vehicles and monsters, especially vehicles are probably the worst culprit, but they get so many, like, mechanical bonuses for not really any downside.
I do not make it. Damage.
The new damage mechanic is, like, so much more forgiving. They're so much tougher. They have, they don't lose models. They don't lose, like, volume or attacks.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, they can tank shock. Plus, they can shoot out of melee. The only downside is, I guess, you could be shot while you're in melee, and that doesn't really happen that often.
Nice.
And 3s, twin length, devastating wounds.
Yes.
Just push for 6s. 4 saves and 2 mortals.
Mm-hmm. Full
Maybe
forms because
one.
I'm in a building.
AP 0, sorry.
Yeah, so 3, which will be 2 damage each.
Yep.
Which means none of them live. So 1, 2, 3.
Ooh, almost got all the beast
And
snagas
then
with
2
the
mortals.
Night Spinner.
2 mortals. So that will be 2 lovely 6-ups. And I do make one of them.
Lots of 6s from the Orks, though. Damn.
This guy goes away.
So looking for the Autarch to get the kill in melee. He should be able to do it,
Oh, no.
but never say never.
I think so. Yeah, yeah.
Aeldari
Yeah,
roll.
that's
Yep, AP loads.
Yeah.
D6. 4.
I have hope.
Yeah, Renaz, 100%.
I
Yeah,
can
the
do it.
shooting
I
shooting
don't,
efficiency
though.
is like kind of wild too.
Goodbye, my lad.
I guess like the one downside is if you're in line of sight, you can be shot back by everything. Like you don't get the benefit of pulling out of line of sight, so that they're worse at holding objectives. I guess is like the one situation, because it's hard. It's easier to shoot a vehicle off an objective with your army than it is otherwise, but it's also easier to hide the vehicles. So yeah, it's like a whole thing.
Whoa.
And I guess like moving them around terrain sucks. Like infantry get the big benefit of going through walls.
2.
So it's not 100% downside, but it is
Yep, that's very annoying.
unfortunate. Yeah. So there goes the Beast Snaga boys.
But that also means you don't get your home
The
objective
objective.
without the Phantasm, I guess. Or the like.
The war spec fly a teleport homer. The Incarn will flamer these tanks in front of it.
Mm-hmm.
What's that? 4 shots.
+3.
Aeldari roll.
Are we rolling to hit with the end card right
3.
now?
What's the strength?
Oh, that's
Strength
hard.
7.
Probably didn't need to hit. Strength 7, AP 1.
Yeah.
Damage D3.
Ba-ba-da. I make 2, so you kill the one. Does he explode? No. Goodbye.
Alright, bring it down. Let's go. Shot, shot, shot. The rifles can't shoot anything.
You can shoot my truck, I guess, because it's a vehicle.
Oh, yeah, let's do that.
You might as well to hit them though. And then T8.
1 win. AP 1 damage.
Oh no. I will make a save, and it will succeed.
Easy. Okay, I'm gonna fire and fade at the end of my shooting phase.
Mm-hmm.
Get this autark back on this objective. And then charges. We will charge the Incarn into the Grot tank.
Go. It's gonna be like a 6 or a 7, probably a 6.
I'll bait dice a 5 away on one of these dice. Just roll the other. Okay, good thing I did that. And these Wraithguard, I guess, charge these boys. Do you have anything inside truck 4, or is it already? It's already storage.
It's already empty.
Yeah, the Wraithguard will charge the boys.
There's boys over there.
Alright. No more charges of fighting. With the race guards. One, two, three, four, five, six, 7 Wraith Guard. 21 attacks. These are on 3s because of the +1 to hit. Color reroll. Lethal hits. Strength 5, T5.
Yep.
4s. Seven saves, AP 0.
4 deaths. 1, 2, 3, 4.
No violent. Do you want to interrupt?
No.
Okay, we'll do the Incarn into the Grot tanks. 5 attacks. Hang on 2s. Toughness 6, 7.
6.
Okay, strength 12, so 2s. AP 4.
Don't have any, so roll damages.
I'll do them one at a time. First one, 5.
Yep, that is 1,
Second one, 3.
3. And then
third
another one kills it.
Yeah. And then I've got 2 more.
Yep.
7.
And then death.
Yeah, got
Do
it.
they explode? One of them explodes, you take a mortal wound.
Alright, hit the 7. And then it's you. Your boys or your truck.
Yeah.
Then my wrist.
I guess I'll do the truck. No, I'll do the boys. Why not? 6 attacks, hitting you on 3s. 6s explode. And 1 AP 1. Damn you.
And then my wrist. What did we say? 5 attacks.
Yep.
Into the boys. Yeah, I'm not doing
The
it.
boys.
Ooh, so Grat Tanks got picked up. Yeah, I think not
These were threes.
not using the reactive movement
No, the
might have been
falls.
a
Oh, well,
an oversight there. That's a big unfortunate loss.
2 damage, so down to 8.
But it's on the boys, not the drop.
Oh, the boys. Sorry. 2 on the boys. So I did not make any saves, so they used both die.
Then you get to truck me back.
Yeah, truck will attack the Wraith Guard, because why not? So, a Wrecking Ball will not hit. The wheels of the bus will not hit.
Alright, I think that's it, right?
Yep.
I get to play Teleport Homers, and I scored a bunch of Bring It Down for killing Rot Tank.
Yep. And then I get 7 on primary.
Yeah, that was really big.
I score 3 for Defense Stronghold.
So
I
looking
get
at, see if we can,
2 more
sort of
objectives,
prognosticate
regional
out
fronts,
our.
deploy Teleport Homer.
Um,
I forgot to put down my Deep Strike on turn 3.
was there?
Oh.
Oh no, there was a unit in
I
strategic
thought this
reserve.
was
Oh
the
boy,
results.
I didn't realize that, chat. I thought everybody was in trucks.
What
Oh
should I
no,
do with my Deep Strike?
that's super unfortunate. Yeah, Dutch a little forgetful today. It seems like.
Like, when you go back, you-
Oh, we've all had those days.
Yeah,
I'll
put the mic over here.
Oh, it's the Storm Boys, not the Knob unit. That makes more sense.
Yeah.
Fenomeno letting him
Mine
put him
also.
down anyway, but that's not very helpful.
Yeah, I just completely forgot about them. It's my fault.
So let's see. What are we looking at for score? It looks like Orks. I think
to drop points.
Orcs are going to, if they can deal with the warp spiders, which is a little bit questionable, but technically possible, I guess, if they shoot them and get lucky.
Well,
They can probably hold on to their home objective, right?
it's going to move
If it's just the
to
Incarn.
be over here, let's say, which is inside of your deployment zone, and then it's going to deploy Teleport Homers for 5 points. That's 1 done, easy. Then
Very nice.
next, engage. It is able to move far enough to engage, so it's going to engage in that quarter. I already engaged in this quarter and the other 2 quarters, so that will be the maximum points. So that is my objectives. Secondary objectives done
Wow,
for the turn. Now I
easy.
just need
All
to
right, well,
ready.
10 points on secondaries is pretty good. So that puts Orcs at 28
So this truck over here
on secondary.
is going to move
At the end of
34
this turn.
inches, so it
They'll.
has a 4-inch
It's
charge.
not
You
unlikely that they get
accidentally
another
have
7 on primary. Let's say that they get
2
5 though, because they'll probably hold
There's
their
something weird going
bottom
on with the
right.
Shadow Spectres thing. Because there's 2 things to measure towards.
So they'll probably get
By
30
the way, I
or
have a
26
3-inch
on
charge
primary.
that guy if I need it.
Eldar will get 5 this coming turn, but then they get bottom round 5 scoring, and I think they'll they'll get 7 this coming turn, so they go to 17. Then they get bottom round 5 scoring, so the final turn they'll probably get
right after
13.
I move this truck.
So they'll get 30. So Eldar will be up 4 on primary, which is a little bit surprising.
So then the knobs will come out to play finally.
They are
This pipe
most
decides to actually
likely
work with me.
going
Thank you, Pipe. Very
to.
cool.
They're at 11 on Bring It Down. They're most likely going to max their Bring It Down. I would be surprised if we didn't see that happen. I guess the unfortunate part for them is that this truck is kind of like stifling the movement of the whole army. But it is what it is. And they will probably get 16 on deploy teleport homers. So I think we're looking at 30 plus
There we
36, so 66 plus painting, so
go. It is not my
76
birthday,
for
so my
Eldar is what
birthdays.
we're probably looking at.
Any damaged trucks
Versus
go up
Orks on the
by
other
1.
side.
I have damaged none of them. Good job. So,
Are getting 10
movements,
more,
I
so
am
they'll be at
movement.
59. They'd have to score
I
16
have
on the last
drops
turn.
over here.
So it
Whoever
depends entirely
wants
on what they
to
draw.
do that, maybe. At the very
If
least,
they can
I
hold their
will
home
take a
objective,
risk
which with
and
the
try and
knobs
make them
now disembarking,
Because
they may be able
why
to do.
not? What is a game without
then
some spice?
they need to only get 9 points on primary, or on secondaries to most likely tie the game.
Of death.
Any units left in trucks? No, this is the last one disembarking. Everybody's on the table now.
No.
Forgetting those Storm Boys and having them not go in a useful position is going to be huge, though. And definitely forgetting the move on the Grot Tanks is enormous, too. Having a Grot Tank unit here would be sweet. They could just pick up the Warp Spiders, and you don't have to deal with that unit anymore.
Do I want to expose Gretchen? But I guess who cares about fucking Gretchen? You would care about Gretchen, I think. Alright, Gretchen. Yeah, you have 12-inch range, so you would need to be within flamer range of 2 flamers over there, which is not worth it, let's say. And now, what do we do with this truck over here? It's kind of fine, you know, it's kind of fine. It's doing great. It's doing magnificent things. These grots are...
Yeah, I think game's still... It's kind of still anyone's game. But he does have an unfortunate sort of glut of Eldar units slowly infiltrating his deployment.
So, that will be the movement phase. I'll go over to the shooting phase. I'll shoot this. Go for it.
Alright, here's the Phantasm. Do we see the Incarn just pull out of here? Yeah. You might, yeah, go forward with the Incarn, honestly. Yeah. Phantasm, man. The forward Phantasm just makes me angry.
Mm-hmm.
It should be reactive. Why is it also defensive? Why can you use it, or offensive, excuse me? Why does he also get it in an offensive capacity? Yeah, so there goes the Incarn. Oh well. It was a pleasant fiction. The downside right now is that Orks just aren't forcing enough Phantasms on the Eldar player for these not to be super brutal, so these knobs are just going to get picked up for free now.
Phantasm.
That's the second unit that's just been kind of cucked by Phantasm.
Then now I'm going to shoot Mr. Shadow Spectre with 3 big shooters, which will be a total of 13 shots. Hitting you on 5s. And then on 3s. 3 AP0. Huzzah! Goodbye. Goodbye, Mr. President.
Just port the Incarn over there.
And then this truck is actually doing the homers thing that I said, and it's also engaging, so it's a very good truck. Thank you, truck. You're scoring me 10 points. This truck over here is honestly doing pretty fine.
So, to be fair,
I
actually think that might prevent the Eldar from stealing the sole objective for the Orks.
Alright, so they can just stay in combat.
Because I think the Incarn needed its OC on that objective to make sure that the Warp Spiders kill all the Gretchen.
No, you're not gonna kill.
Or did enough damage to get through the Gretchen. I guess you also have the Night Spinner though. So the combination of the two will probably pick up the unit.
You don't kill things in melee. So, I believe that would be my shooting phase. So, I'll go over to the charge phase. And these gents are going to declare an 11-inch charge into these Warp Spiders.
Alright. Please don't make this.
I will try. But it's a 10.
Oh my god,
Fuck.
missed it by 1 point. Are you kidding
have done
me?
the trident, which is very sad. But I'm going to spend a CP on a reroll.
Okay.
CP roll for an
It's
11
close,
there.
so maybe it'll be even closer.
No
Maybe
way!
There we go.
You reroll justice.
Yeah.
Just kidding, chat.
10,
Are
11,
you
1,
kidding me?
0.
Makes the 11-inch charge onto the Warp Spiders.
Yeah, only 1. So that would be 2d6. Because it's the Exarch. So 11. I should stay outside of engagement range because engagement range.
Are we
won't be
overwatching now?
scary.
Absolutely nuts,
One
chat.
time an Incan did with the
Yeah, so
Exarch,
because it was
like,
almost exactly
only
12
one
inches,
beast
the
knight alive.
Overwatch is only the
So that did make me very much less
Exarch
scared of
coming
them,
back
but,
in.
you know,
Oh my god.
again, is it
Well, that will most likely
Is that
pick up that
very
Warp
long
Spider
time
unit and
anymore?
prevent them from deploying a teleport homer. And then you ask the question, who's going to deploy the homer? And it's probably the Incarn.
Here you go.
And honestly, It could.
Thank you, 11.
It does have a 1 damage sweep
Charge.
attack,
Name
sweep
is
profile, so you
secondary
could just
class.
engage
Very
it, not take too much damage from it, and
you're able to get 2 points of parry though, but I think
at
that's
least force the
fine.
Eldar
You'll be-
to
you'll
burn
live.
command points to allow it
But
to
you'll probably
do
won't
its
win, I think. I hope.
teleport armor.
So,
Yeah, we back, baby.
that is to be my charge phase. Oh, I forgot to move the Stormlands again. I keep forgetting about them.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, thank you. Because they are going to advance. So first the one in front for 3, so 15. Come on, you can do it. I believe in you guys. There you go. And then the other one for 70, for a bit longer, but I'll still put them behind over there. There you go. Good job, guys. Very proud. And then we get back to the thing that matters. Namely, killing you in the fight phase. I have a lot of CP. I need to spend it. I'm going to spend 1 CP on exploding 5s to hit. And then I'm going to pile in. And stay outside of engagement range. Because, again, Incarn's scary. So I think 5 of them will be able to fight, and the rest are just doo-doo. The rest will be spectators and giving them moral support.
I would engage the Incarn here. If we're already in on Unbridled
Okay,
Carnage,
beautiful.
just go in on the
So,
Incarn,
5
beat
of
that
them
lady
fight,
up.
Which is 15 attacks.
You could
They
force a
have
battle
3 of
shock,
each,
and then it wouldn't be able to do
hitting on
actions.
3s because the wall boss gives them a +1, and then exploding.
I would
5s.
for sure go for it. I guess the downside is like
Right,
you could get
okay.
epic dueled or something, but
So,
think it's
that will
fine.
be 3 extra. And then I'll be wounding you on 2s because they're strength 9. And then please take 14 AP2 saves. Goodbye. Have a nice day. Thank you, Nobs, for making that 11-inch charge. Very proud. And
That was big.
then
was
that will be
big.
the end of the fight phase.
making that
So,
teleport
over
homer
to your
even
turn.
tougher. So the
We'll score engage,
it's still possible, but you have to give up a lot to
and then both of them are gone.
complete your teleport homer this coming round. You have to give up the Incarn's
without it.
activation.
Oh yeah, you still go for it. So
No, we'll do a
Wraith-
restart.
yeah, Wraith Guard. So probably all should be able to fight, and you have 7 of them.
I don't know.
So 21.
Fights to win.
7.
Wow,
8 saves. 80.
Ah, you make the reroll.
that was
Nice.
this is a randomly
So,
clocking this
good
truck for
old
ability
saves.
damage.
Come on, dice, you can do it.
If this truck dies
You
here, that's
deal
actually going to
4
be
damage.
huge. 4 from the Wraith Guard.
1, 2, 3, 4.
The Wraith Knight does hit, does wound on 4s, and put it on a 5 up. So there's a non-zero chance the Wraith Knight, if it converts 3 here, actually kills the truck.
You are something.
And then that would actually
T8
free
in
both
your
of these
strength
units
points.
and make this coming turn much easier.
Three. Oh, come on, dice, you can do it. I believe in you. Don't make any, so it'll be 3 more damage. Down to 3.
Oh, these are 2 damage each instead.
Oh, 2 damage each. Then I would like the CP reroll. And I make the save, so down to 2.
Alright.
Alright.
And
Well, at least burned his
over to
command
your
point.
turn. Oh wait, I get to fight you back, so I'm going to
Oh, yeah.
quickly fight the Wraith Guards. It will not hit, and then the wheels will actually hit their guard. And then one of them will wound, AP 0. They will not do anything this game either. So then it's your turn. There you go.
I got CP for my Aeldari. I will -1 to win the Wraith Guard.
Nice.
Score 7 on primary for the first time this game.
Ooh.
And Dutch, are you
Ooh.
out of command points, or you're back to 1 now once the turn flips?
Oh yeah, I need to reduce my CPU. I didn't reduce my CP expenditure by 1 for my CP reroll on the truck, so yeah, I should go down by 1.
Yeah, you were
Did
at
you use a
3,
CP
right?
on
And then you
the
spent
truck
3?
as well?
I reduced the 1 for my gens, which was the 5-ups with
Reroll the
the...
charge and reroll the...
Oh yeah, I forgot to reroll the charge, you're correct. I should reduce that one as well.
Yep.
Right, what we doing here?
20 minutes for 2 turns? No, it should be fine. 2 turns in 20 minutes is fairly average. It just depends on how much thinking that Fenomeno ends up doing. Especially since, as the second player, usually your last turn is very fast.
2-5.
Because all you have, you rarely have to like operate with all of your models because most of them don't matter. So we did score 7 for Aeldari, and they're down 13. But we do have we volunteered a truck as tribute, so that we'll probably get taken out. By the Wraith Knight, assuming that Fenomeno shoots his Wraith Knight cannons. I'm not sure he's aware that he can. But that's not something I can really step in and remind players about. It's not that's an optional ability, so we can't go in and tell them. Which is interesting. Although,
How you doing?
yeah, I don't know. I guess it is possible that the Rangers or something knocks the truck out first before the Wraith Knight shoots, and then it doesn't even have to suffer the -1.
I guess you can
could also do it with just the Warwalkers too.
Maybe it's gonna take up a hobby of correction killing.
So we have to like sacrifice the Incarn for teleport homing, right? That feels like the game plan.
Shoot and charge with the Wraith Knight.
Oh no, we're just gonna operate normally with the Wraith Knight. Yeah, I think we are at the point where it seems unlikely that the knobs, especially having power claws, just 2 damage weapons, actually kill the Wraith Knight. So it actually may just dive into this unit and try to kill them. We do have to get rid of trucks though, because Bring It Down is getting cut right now. It's only at 11. Got to kill 3 more trucks to max it.
Should say the Knight's better. That's gonna shoot the Stormboy squad at the back.
Mm-hmm.
5++.
Yeah, so the other thing that this does, chat, is that it puts the Wraith Knight, regardless of what happens to the truck, it puts the Wraith Knight in a position, if it charges these guys, that it can access the Orc objective at the bottom, at the end of the game. And because Aeldari are the second player, if the Wraith Knight stands on that objective and kills, you know, any number of Gretchen, basically, it will most likely flip that for another 6 points. So I think that's the idea here. But I think that's probably the game plan.
Fusion gun in the truck this second.
If he was stuck back here, it doesn't look like he could get in there. He could kill the truck with shooting and then Phantasm to there, but then he'd have to like charge into the objective. It would be a little tough. But right now, if he has a charge, he can get there this coming turn.
Probably D6+2?
Or a charge, move plus a Phantasm, either one. But I think that the
Okay.
Storm Boys probably Cloud to prevent that from happening. At least it stops them from doing secondary stuff.
The Rangers will ship this truck.
Ooh,
Go
almost
for
got the truck with random
Only
garbage.
one of them's out of range. Nope. The Wraith Knight. Put one heavy Wraith Cannon into that 3-man Stormlad squad. Along with the Star Cannons and one heavy Wraith Cannon into the knobs in front of them.
Alright, the knobs are permanently -1 to wound.
Okay, we'll do the Storm Boys first. So Wraith Cannon shots. 3. 3s. Aeldari reroll. Whoa, fate dice. This wound roll.
Are you fate dicing the wound roll?
Yes, so 2d6
Alright.
Storm Boys.
Double 1, please. That's not double 1. You dare? Alright, rest in peace, Storm Boy Squad. You will be remembered as being forgotten. Oh, one moment, bit of lag. There we go.
Choose which model dies last, because the Incarn's gonna teleport there.
You teleport to unit you kill.
Whenever
that-
any unit dies, she can teleport to the last model removed.
Wait, really? Isn't it only an Aeldari unit?
Nope, any unit.
When another unit is destroyed, just after removing the last model in that unit. Ha! That is interesting. So it will be this guy, so over here, I guess. It's like, okay then, what the fuck?
Surprise.
Like, down?
And then we've got Wraith Cannon into the.
So yeah, so I guess instead of teleport homing, we may just try to get the Incarn to access the Gretchen, and she can probably take the objective with a sweep attack on the Gretchen.
3's right, because you're permanently.
And
Yeah,
that would
threes.
cut, at least, that would
to
cut
save.
2 points from the Orc
I
score.
don't have saves, so 2 die.
Uh,
10, 16. 16, so 8, so the squad. But not the boss.
Oh, chats. The Wraith Knight. I present to you the Wraith
Very
Knight.
painful.
The old 4d6er mortals. Pretty good.
Walker into the blue truck.
Mm-hmm.
Threes. 1 wins. 53.
1 wound. Don't make it.
D6 plus 2. 4.
Down to 6.
It's like you roll a bunch of dice to like get permission to tell your opponent to pick up the unit. It's a little bit nuts.
Honestly, don't know what's worth more. Deploying a teleport or charging these. Yes.
One of them is a risk, but one of them is a guaranteed 4 victory points, so you'll call.
Yeah, I think you definitely take it. You just move guys onto it in your turn.
Yeah.
I don't score my primary off it anyway, and you don't really care about losing 2 on primary at this point. So.
Yeah, like 2 primary is like, oh no. It's like,
Incarnate
do you want to
teleport
risk?
over.
Yeah, like, do you want to take a big risk for 8 victory points rather than 4 for a 10-point swing? But it's very unlikely, so you're probably better guaranteed for 4.
Yep, fair. And then the Warwalker will charge this.
I have seen Wraith
Oh, no.
Knight like just flub on Devastating and then like get 1 off of the
Not my track. No.
Punch this truck.
Oh no.
one off of the what do you call it?
2 hits. 5 to win. 2 wins.
God damn it.
The
How dare
fate
you roll
dice.
so well against my precious truck?
Yeah,
I make 1, so 1 damage.
Did we not charge the Autark over here?
Alright, my truck will fight the Wall Walker with a Wrecking Ball, which it doesn't even hit. And then it will go roll it over, which it will hit twice. And then it will not wound because you're T7.
And then a bunch of Wraith Guard.
Yep. Okay, that's not what I want to see.
What's that? 10 saves? 0.
Yeah, I'll be fine. I'll be fine. I am not fine. Do I explode?
Ooh.
Yes.
Spicy.
So Wraith Guards will take 1. Wall Walker will take 2.
Alright, over to you.
Lovely. So I gain 7 victory points because I am on
think
2
the
points.
Wraith Knight also gets hit by that, right?
Oh yeah, probably. Just roll for it.
Oh yeah, the Wraith Knight. Sure. I mean, it's not really going to matter too much for the 1 mortal wound. It's just going to prove it's mortal. I can damage it. I can bring it down. It does bleed, but not enough
If it
to
bleeds,
kill.
we can kill it. We're 1/9 of the way there.
You
Let's
killed
go.
my only anti-tank that could take it down turn 1, pretty much. So
Oh, I forgot to charge my Autark. Do you mind?
Alright, go for it. Go for it.
Yeah.
There you go.
What's this do? 5 attacks, second on 3s.
Mm-hmm.
Probably winning on
5s because you're strength 6.
5. Yeah.
Ooh.
Huzzah.
Ooh! Flubbed it.
You're still-
Huzzah. The truck lives.
Unfortunate.
Praise be to the truck. The truck
Yeah,
is live.
Incarn went to teleport Homer.
Yeah, I can punch him back with a wrecking ball.
So...
It will hit.
Oh no.
It will wound. AP 0.
Damage.
D6.
Oh, fate dice the save.
Yeah.
Damn.
Trap
You
of
don't
fate
even give
dice.
me a hope of a 1. God damn
That
you.
would have been funny.
How dare you make a tactically correct decision against me in a fight at this point.
Yeah, the Uncarn went for the teleport
Two
Homer.
AP0.
It was basically, yeah, I guess the question was, it got 4 points versus
I'll take that as a moral victory.
a potential of an 8-point swing was the discussion. And it would have had to, like, basically flamethrower 3 of the Storm Boy, or 2 of the Storm Boys, and then, like, kill the entire Grot squad, which is probably unlikely.
Overwhelming force and investigate signals. Well, both of those are pretty bad, to be honest.
She teleported to teleport over, yeah.
So
And I mean, the other thing too is that, like, nothing threatens the Incarn anymore, right? Like, it's only got 7 wounds left, but like, I don't think the War Boss with a 1 rocket launcher and a awkward, like, not very good melee attack is gonna kill it. All right, so let's see what we pulled here. Overwhelming force, investigate signals. I don't think those are going to be good enough here, chat. I think we might be looking at Aeldari taking this down in the bottom round 5. So investigate signals is going to be... You could potentially get 4... Yeah, you could get 4 points on investigate signals, so that'll put us to 70. Overwhelming force... There's nothing. There's basically nothing, right? You could kill the Warwalker, potentially.
Over here. So it can stand on this point. It will also heal up by 1 wound because I have Grot Riggers. This truck.
Yeah, I agree, Chad. Yeah, she could have flamethrowered. She also gave up the flamethrower. But then it wouldn't have been it would have only been a 2-point swing because the Incarn would have prevented the score here, but then the Storm Boys would have taken the objective back. So you don't. I guess not that really matters because you score bottom round 5 anyway. So either way, I think it only would have been 2 points. versus the teleport homer's
This
automatic
truck
4.
is going to try and stay just 1 inch away from the walls, so you can't charge it through the walls, and then hopefully that will make it live. I will move all the Gretchen onto this point
I
because
think that is
maybe you
3
take it,
points
maybe you
for bringing
don't,
it down last turn.
and then you need to at least kill like 8 of them. I don't think you will, but maybe you will. The war boss is going to advance.
So
for
then,
2, so he moves 8.
Eldar
It's not
with
enough.
bottom round 5 scoring. I don't think that there's like really a universe where the Eldar don't lose this objective.
Kill him now.
Unless the Incarn randomly dies, which doesn't, I guess is possible, but not likely. I would like to see the Wraith Knight Phantasm.
Goodbye, Mr. Wraith Knight. Then now, truck number 4 will just move over here, I guess.
Yeah, I think that's what we're gonna see, just to confirm that we can hold this objective.
It will look upon this Night Spinner.
And then we have the Night Spinner, the Incarn, and the Wraith Knight to take this objective. That would get a 13-point primary.
There's still
So
far
that would
too much
tie this
forward
up,
to
and
the
then
Wraith Knight right there.
all they need to do is get the teleport over again, which they could easily do with any one of those units.
Yeah.
And that should put Eldar
Yeah.
in the lead here.
They just keep on living.
Unless we don't
Like, that's-
Phantasm
you-
the Wraith Knight,
You've
and then who
tried
knows.
to kill them multiple times, but you just keep on living, which I love. It's basically a trap to take Bringer down against me a lot of the time because I can just hide them in a corner. So then next, do I have anything else to do? Not really. Things are just kind of doing themselves. So investigate signals is being done. Overwhelm. Actually, I should spend 1 CP to recycle overwhelming force into something else if you don't mind.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, just because I have nothing else to do. No prisoners! How great! That's much better. Yeah, I have... Oh well, yeah, I can earn some victory points from it, potentially, but it's just not likely. I already moved track 3. It's just a 9-inch charge. I can do a 9-inch charge, right? Without a CP reroll. Yeah, let's go for it. What could possibly go wrong? So
Yeah,
in the
you're
shooting
gonna
phase,
Phantasm.
alright, go for it.
Here comes the Phantasm. Where are we going? You've got to move
What
this Wraith
will
Knight,
you
right?
phantasm, good sir?
Really?
Can you measure the charge from that boss into the Incarnate from here?
That would be an 8-inch.
Yeah, let's do that.
Alright.
Huh.
So the now shooting
I don't know about that,
phase, I
chat.
have 2 trucks that will shoot this Orks.
I guess we're
why not?
hoping that the
They're not
boss
gonna do
fails the
anything, it's
charge.
just rolling dice for fun.
I guess that,
Okay, that's
it's
low
probably
pilots.
still fine.
I've lied.
but I don't know what we get teleport
That will
homer
be
with
4
then,
AP0.
because you're not gonna take this objective without the
Does he have a
Wraith Knights
He
in
has a
there.
3.
Okay, thanks, I wouldn't-
Dear God, the big shooters did something.
I guess you could teleport homer the center for 3 instead of the max,
First time they do on stream.
and that should still be fine.
Never done before. Alright. I think that's my shooting phase. I'm not gonna shoot the Incarn, that's just a waste of time. So charge phase. I'm going to charge the Orks Way Leaper with my truck. And I do not make it, so I can't CP reroll because I can only kill it with tank shock. So this truck is going to charge the Night Spinner. It will succeed.
Can it fall back in charge?
Oh, it fell back. Right. That is my mistake. I cannot charge you. I am making so many basic mistakes. Like, dear God, what am I doing? Am I drunk? Yeah, then I have nothing. So, oh yeah, I should probably then re-roll my charge roll because I have nothing. And then I do make it. I can't tank shock you, but I can tie you up in melee with a chuck.
Yeah, just,
Can you with a 10?
It should be able to.
just
I
gotta
think.
put your
So 9
faith in the heart
Some
of
wiggle
the.
room. So like, if I turn it for 1
Okay.
and then move 9,
Yeah.
there you go. And now I am going to wrecking ball you.
Yeah, just put your faith in the wrecking ball.
It will
There's a
hit
6.
you twice because it explodes. And then it will wound you once because I rolled a 1. So 1 AP 0.
All right, Outark, what do you got, buddy?
We'll fate dice the save with this
Yeah.
3.
All
Coward.
right, here's
I see
where
how it
we roll
is.
triple
Yep,
6s
yep.
on
And
the,
then-
the melee attack.
I will hit you thrice.
That was close.
And I will wound you twice. 2,
The dream's
3 ups.
alive.
You
So-
coward. Alright, there we go.
Outark, too
That
tough.
is that. Probably shouldn't have. Oh, and now the Orks fights back.
Oh, yeah, sure.
So you get 5 lovely attacks.
Two wins. These are
Two.
take 3 damage. Something like that.
I make
two.
1. So 2 damage down to 5. And that will be that. So I do signals twice, so I gain 4 points. I do no prisoners none of the times yet, but I could kill you on your turn, I guess, maybe.
How many points am I behind? 17. Okay,
E-
that's a rough one.
You'll be fine. You'll be fine. You'll do great.
I think this is, yeah. If
You're
Eldar.
not Dari. You can't lose. You have a Wraith Knight. Come on,
Yeah,
have
so he's
confidence in
down
the Wraith Knight.
17, but it's only 14 because the Wraith Guard just deployed Teleport Hummer in the center, and then he has to kill 1 vehicle and take the Eldar and take the Horcomb objective. Which
You'll
he
need to
can do
kill
by shooting the
every
Night
single
Spinner
Gretchen
and
on
the
the board.
Incarnate the Gretchen. And then the Wraith Knight just kills a tank somewhere, and then we're good.
Yeah, you just need to hit with all 10 of your attacks and kill all 10 Gretchen.
Is,
Oh wait, not even. You have 10 attacks. The Grabber Herder has two things. So even if you kill every single even if you land all of your attacks, there will be a Gretchen alive. And then the point is not yours.
It was actually okay. I'm gonna PCP to fall back with this.
No, you're gonna go away from a truck.
I'm gonna deploy a
okay, yeah. So we're gonna get
Oh,
Teleport
for
Hummer
3
there.
points. Nice.
The Wraith Guard can then move and shoot one of these trucks. And the Wraith Knight should be able to pick up the other truck. So that'll be another 6 on Bring It Down.
2.
And that will make that much easier. And then
That is
the
one.
indirect and the flamers have to kill the
Back here, try and help the Wraith.
kits. Did he just move off this objective? Oh no, the Wraith Guard are going there. Okay.
These Rangers are ranged up to the truck from last time, right? No, it was the other truck that died. They'll need to move closer. And the Night Spinner is in range of these Grots. Okay, shooting.
Yeah, should be an easy cleanup
Night
from
Spinner
here
is
unless
the
really
+4.
weird dice happen.
+3 blast.
Mm-hmm.
4, 6. I got 4s.
Not a great roll
Sorry,
from the
hang
Night
on,
Spinner
sorry,
though.
close to the squad just to make the charge easier. Aeldari rolls to hit. 2 hits. And we are winning on 2s with Dwindling. Fish for more things.
Oof.
1 save.
Oof.
One save,
Could
one.
actually get
flat
weird now.
on- Do I take it on the herder? No, I don't. So just on the grabbers, they make it, so they live. Oh wait, do they? Do they have a 6-up save? No, they have a 7-up. You kill one of them.
Alright, progress. And the shuriken cannon misses all the shots on the truck, and I'd already used my hit reroll. The Warwalker. We'll shoot this far away. Truck. The blue one.
Oh, no.
2 hits. Who wins? AP3.
Mm-hmm. No saves with double 1.
8 damage.
8 damage.
Does it explode? No. Goodbye, truck.
Okay, and the Wraith Knight will shoot everything into the purple truck. It's the only thing that matters.
Mhm. Yeah, I moved it the wrong way because I forgot it couldn't charge.
4 shots.
Just miss.
Aeldari
You
reroll.
don't though.
Uh, 3 saves and a devastating.
Mm-hmm. I make 2 saves.
Okay, you take 4d6 damage.
It's,
Auto kills it. Oh, look at that.
that is
A
21.
casual 21
Truck
mortal wounds on a
27.
3 wound model. Alright, get out of here. Oh, Wraith Knight, you silly goose.
The attack would apply teleport over in the middle. The Incarn will shoot the Grabba Git.
Gretchen.
Gretchen, sorry, yeah. Am I allowed to fate dice the number of shots?
Mm,
Just looking at
Don't
that.
know.
This is what we have, I think.
No, advanced battle shock charge damage hit saving wind. Okay, just have to roll it.
Yeah.
don't roll the 6. Thank you.
CP reroll. I can't CP reroll this either, can I? Can you, Trevi? Can you CP reroll number of shots from a multi-shot weapon?
Yeah, you can.
Okay, I'll do that.
Roll another 1, please.
Nope, 5.
That's not a 1.
So what's this? 8 total.
Mm-hmm.
And these will be.
Oof.
Yep.
TTS is having a
That's a bit
little
laggy.
struggling here in the late game. The old late game auto saves.
Oh, bit of lag. Oh well.
I'll reroll the wind roll. 8 wins. DP1, damage D3.
One moment, my tabletop is crashing for some reason.
Yeah,
Huh?
everyone's
And it's back. There we go. So how many?
8.
8. AP?
1. I don't think you'll get a
AP, yeah. 8. Damage?
D3.
D3. Yeah.
Yeah, the problem with capping the devastating wounds is that it's so difficult to create a system that caps them without being overly complicated, and that also
Oh no.
How tough is this? Grabba Herda.
doesn't make just a bad rule, because if it
T5.
it should
And,
probably
Obama
be
saying?
that the mortal wounds like can't be assigned to more than one model in the unit or something like that, so it stops the splitting into multiple models. Like I think that's the real issue.
5 hits. 5 wins, AP4.
The mortal wounds from a single
Okay.
attack can't be assigned to more than one model. It's probably
Alright,
how
I
it should be.
control that objective.
But there's a lot of situations where if you say, oh, it's capped at
Alright,
6, but you
that's
have a
it.
weapon that does
End
more
of the
than
game.
6,
That's
that would
what we got.
normally do more than 6 damage,
I
then
think you did.
suddenly it
'Cause I'll get
makes things
2
awkward.
plus 5 plus.
Yep, so that should be the game for Eldar. They'll get a 13 on primary end of
Mhm.
game, and that
There you
is
go.
the game. GG.
Yeah, just the fact that the Incon can teleport to enemy units dying is fucking
Good
huge.
game,
Like,
chats.
what
Yeah,
fuck?
the Orks almost did it.
I did
They
not
had
know
they
I
put
could do
themselves in
that.
the best position to win, but it's tough
Yeah,
to
I
beat
was
the Wraith
scared
Knight
to
just
do early,
picking up
so
a unit every
much action
turn.
once there.
And I think maybe got a little bit too aggressive, like threw some burn up boys out. They basically fed 2 units of
Yeah,
infantry
I
into a
would've
Wraith
liked
Knight
it to
that
be
really do
close
anything.
to me at the beginning, to be honest, but you know, it happens, I guess.
I mean, let's just double check that you do actually score primary at the end.
Yeah, it does. Second player.
Okay.
The player who has the second turn scores 3 PS to strike the buff, but that's at
Make
the
it
end
like
of
the
the turn.
Vindicare Assassin.
I would have liked it to be told that you did have the Incon be able to teleport to enemy units dying as well. I thought it was just Aeldari units dying, because that is how I have seen it being played all the time.
Oh yeah, no, the Incarns.
Yeah, I didn't know that, and you didn't say anything about it, but it happens.
Yeah, I mean that's like
Yeah, sorry,
that's
no, I
just a
thought
game knowledge thing.
I think we chatted about it before the game, and it said remember.
Yeah, I
The important
like
thing is
making it no saves of any kind for sure.
Yeah, you said it was once per phase and not.
Then it like I don't know. It's weird because a lot of stuff has devastating wound protection because it protects against mortal wounds. So if you exorcise it from the mortal wound mechanic, then it like breaks a bunch of stuff. It's like I don't know. It's a late point to rethink the mechanic. I think they just have to be more judicious on who they put it on. Well, Chad, if everybody has any questions to the players, go ahead and throw them in there.
I'd lost that game, I would say.
I just made too many small errors that allowed you to get the thing. Like if I moved away my trucks, it's like if I thought this truck could still charge for some reason, but it wasn't able to, so I should have moved it away, and I shouldn't have charged your Farseer. So that I think that's what lost me the game pretty much.
Yeah, that was 6 points on Bring It Down.
Yeah, I get so stressed playing on a clock.
Yeah.
I didn't scout out my Warwalkers. I'm pretty sure I just didn't res a Wraith Guard at least one turn, if not two. And...
I never really play on a clock. It's only when I'm like on a stream, and this is my second time ever on a stream, so it's a bit of an excuse. But again, I just never really play on a clock, so I'm not used to it. And I still have 30. I have still have 30 minutes on my clock, Lamau. But yeah, you played well. You played better. You exploited what mistakes I was making, so I do think it's like completely deserved.
I think I played pretty badly for the first 3 turns, and then Aeldari the last 2 turns. So I'm not going to take any credit for this.
Nah. I will say, if you're not Aeldari, I don't think you would have won, because like this Wraith Knight just kills anything it touches. Like, it has killed so many things, and I don't think you would have won without it. And it's like only an Aeldari tool with so many devastating wounds.
Yeah, the Overwatch. I think the first Overwatch was just a straight boxcars, 12 more.
Yeah.
That was a really great game. I think going in, I thought, okay, this primary's kind of horrible. You're going to pin me in my deployment zone, and I'm going to really struggle to score any primary. Bring It Down's really good against you. And if you're pushing up, you're going to have Grots and Stormboys in the back. You can definitely deploy teleport homers, but I didn't really follow through on that.
I think what the choice that made you the game though is the Incarn teleporting him on back line to get the 8 points. Because if you didn't get those 8 points, it would be 68 to 70, and then I would have won. So I do think that the Incarn decision did win you the game, which is just a really good one.
No, the Incarn's really sweet. I don't know if you have any comments, Privy.
I was surprised the turn previous, because the Incarn was facing down the War Boss, right? So the War Boss could potentially have charged it. But I was surprised he didn't just Phantasm the Wraith Knight, and the Wraith Knight just if the War Boss is there fighting the Incarn and doesn't die, then the Wraith Knight just charges the objective anyway.
I don't think I should have moved the Stormlands onto the objective. I didn't anticipate it, so I do think my Investigate Signals was the right call. But yeah, just the Incarn teleporting into my backline was pretty huge. I wanted to kind of CP reroll the War Boss getting onto the point, but that wouldn't have been enough. It's like OC1.
Right.
I would have also needed this truck over there, but then you can just kill the truck for 3 victory points and win anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, you played.
The chat wants to ask me. It wants me to ask you why, if you had done the reactive move with the Grot tanks when the Incarn went to go charge them.
I forgot about its existence because I was forgetting about. I only now remember that's a thing because they said it, and that would have been pretty huge to just make them live.
Yeah.
Because yes, they do have the once per turn they can move away for 6 inches, and I should have done that, and that's probably what lost me the game.
Yeah, that was big.
So yeah, all I can really blame here is my own just inexperience on playing on the clock and on stream under pressure. But that's how you gotta learn. It's just the circumstances you're given.
No, you can't win with a stream chat when you're the Aeldari player. Play terribly, still somehow pull out the bag.
To be fair though, if you lost, you'd have been shamed because you have the Wraith Knight and you have the Wraith Guard.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm very happy with my performance either way.
Yeah.
It's like going 70 points against 75 in my first match against the Wraith Guard ever. I'm very happy. Like I did well. I could have even won if I didn't have my mistakes, you know? But that's just how the game goes. I made mistakes, and it lost me the game.
And now you know.
Yeah, also, the Aeldari faction is dumb, right? I didn't really have to do it.
So the lesson here is just play better. Remember your rules. Because if you use your rules, you can win. My God.
I have heard that. I've heard tell.
It's like, maybe making attacks is a very handy thing to do. Yeah. Yeah, but I had fun. Great game. It's like, you know, it's a bit of sorts because race night, but, you know,
Yeah.
what do you do? It's just good.
Yeah,
You're just
that was a great game. Genuinely really close, right? Like, came right down to the wire.
Yeah.
Thank you. But thanks, Trevi, obviously, for
Yeah.
setting it all up.
Yeah.
Like,
Thank you too for playing.
I do think maybe like both the Wraith Guard and the Wraith Knight is too much, because they're like what 900 points that you're concentrating into 2 units. So I think that might be a bit unwieldy to move, but you still just made great use of them and you killed what you wanted to kill.
Yeah, I was getting pretty stressed out that they were stuck in combat with a truck for 2 turns.
Yeah.
That wasn't part of the plan.
Like, trucks are the MVP of my list. I love them so much.
I guess it
You
kind of it does go to show a little bit that the fact they can't just like pistol themselves out of combat anymore is pretty effective. Stops that unit from just bowling over people.
Yeah, just have a 50-point truck, tie them up for 2 turns.
Yeah, I got myself in a situation where I was having to use the Feigned Retreat. I wanted to use it like 3 times every turn. I had so many units. I thought, why are they tied up in combat? This is horrible.
That is what happens when there's nothing but trucks on the other side of the table, basically. Just sideswiping everybody.
But yeah, good game. Like, you turned it around. I had the advantage, and you just made the right calls and just got the victory. So GG, and thank you for the pod, Trevi.
Great game. Well played,
Thanks, guys.
Thanks.
Have a good one.
Hopefully I'll be in another finale. This is my second one, so
Yeah, I'm sure.
yeah. I'll just need to remember my rules.
That's the tough part.
Yeah. That's where we all fall short. So yeah, see ya.
Cheers, guys. A little microphone feedback there. Oof, I don't know what that was. Weird. It sounded like a dog barking in the background. Good game, chat. Oh, I forgot to do a prediction this time around, so I apologize for that. But yeah, congratulations to Fenomeno for taking it down. Super duper tight game towards the end. I think both players hopefully learned a lot about, you know, operating and playing this matchup particularly, because it's a lot of interesting pieces of technology being used. All right, I'm going to be live tomorrow. I had a game scheduled, but I think I might actually have to cancel it. There is a semifinals game for the T5S2 GT that's happening. That's Aeldari versus Necrons, and I think I'm going to stream that tomorrow. That'll be at the same time, so 2 p.m. US Eastern. Mostly because it's Joe C. Cartwright, who not only is like a funny person and a phenomenal player, but also the only undefeated non-Aeldari in the event. So I want to make sure that I catch one of her games before before it potentially becomes an Aeldari mirror match. There is the potential that she knocks out the Aeldari player this round, and she has been doing well so far, so I think that's a very strong possibility. And then gets another Aeldari mirror match next round. Hopefully that doesn't happen, but we'll see. And yeah, so I'll be streaming that one tomorrow. So I'll see you around the same time. Thank you, everybody. And we'll go rating real quick here. Who's live right now? Let's see. Who's live on Warhamsters? Penny Arcade. Penny Arcade is live playing Thousand Sons and Adeptus Custodes. Whoa, this is all right. They've got lighting and stuff. Yeah, we're freaking rating Penny Arcade. I love that those dudes are big miniature gamers. They used to be really supportive of War Machine Hordes back in the day, which I think was really cool. It's a real throwback. That's like a real millennial webcomic. Who remembers webcomics, by the way? All right, let's go hang out with them. Thanks, everyone, for hanging out with me, and I'll see you tomorrow. Cheers, everybody.